And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Coaster Time. I am your host, Carrot Gilgan, and today we are doing a 10-year plan for Carowinds. And for this, who better to bring on than a returning guest who is also a Carowinds local, who is none other than Josh from CLT Coasters. Josh, it's great to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. And then for those who haven't, maybe aren't as familiar with your work, where can they find you?
Mainly on Instagram and YouTube. I try to be active on YouTube, but I'm kind of a busy guy. I'm a lot more active on Instagram, and that's pretty much it. So,
Alrighty, sounds great. Those of you in the chat, if you could let us know um, if the audio is good, that would be great. I saw Knexpert here in the chat earlier. Hello. Also realize that notifications sometimes will be finicky, so I'm waiting on that. Also will apologize on the time conflict with the U.S. First World Cup game, which starts in about an hour. But had to, wasn't something that was on my radar until recently. Good to see you, Civilian Satellite and James. All right, audio is good. Great to hear. And with that being said, we'll roll straight into the Carowinds 10-year plan. We will have a Q&A session towards the end of the stream, but I'll go over some kind of background info, like I did with the Over Texas stream. If you saw that, that was our first 10-year plan. This will be shorter than that one, though. I've decided to cut down on the background slides. So first things first here, just some general rules. This is going to be creating a 10-year plan for additions and improvements for Carowinds on a yearly basis for 10 years through 2037. We're going to start in 2028 because we already know about the addition of Rip Roar and Falls next year. And yes, 2028 to 37 is 10 years. The way the numbers works, you kind of like skip it one number because you have a zero involved. And you as the chat can provide suggestions for addition ideas as well. Additions can include new rides, but also several other things. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but ride rethemes, repaints, area overhauls, infrastructure improvements, and the following under there as well can be involved. And there will also be ride removals and potential replacements as well incorporated. So I think those are probably the big things to hit there. And then we also have some potential chopping block coasters. And actually, Josh, I'll get your input here as far as if you think there's anything additional that should be added. Just to make mention, we're not removing all of these. These are literally just coasters that I threw in the list as like possible options. Some a lot more likely than others. Some are very much far cries. Looking at Afterburn at the bottom there for that. But as far as like very unlikely to happen. But the one mandatory coaster we're going to remove as part of this 10-year plan is Vortex. You also have the other ones listed there. Do you think there's any other coasters that I should throw on here, or is this look good?
I think this looks pretty good. I will say for Afterburn, I doubt we were going to remove it anyway, but they do have this little time capsule outside. They say they want to wait until 2039 to open it. So
Hmm.
assuming that nothing is changing with the merger and everything, because obviously this would have been, I think this was dug in 2019. So, but unless their plans change drastically, I see no reason why Afterburn shouldn't have at least another 20, 25 years in it. So,
Yeah, I more so just include it just because we are starting to see some decisions having to be made with some of those 90s B&Ms as far
Mhm.
as do you retrack, do you let them go?
Yep,
Um, but I would honestly guess if they had to come down to it, hopefully they just retrack Afterburn.
I sure hope so.
Um, so, but just threw it in there.
Mhm.
That one is probably least of concern. The ones that are higher up, I think, are probably a lot more likely. So,
Mm.
um, this over the World Cup, thank you. Um, and then good to see here over Texas fan. So we also have some potential chopping block non-coasters. I'm not going to go through the entire list. Again, I think some of the ones higher up make a little more sense. Two of those being upcharges, but we'll see if we end up removing those. Some upcoming years that I think are notable. We have the projected closure of California's Great America in 2027, so that's an opportunity potentially to vulture some rides if we want. Carowinds has their 55th anniversary in 2028 and their 60th in 2033. So those are some years that I felt were notable to put in here. And then last few slides here that I have, you can see we have a lot of options for new attractions or improvements, Voltrain, Six Flags America, and California's Great America rides. But we're also potentially looking at previous chain additions, the survey options, whatever else we can think of and you can think of as a chat. And I also had listed some of the Carowinds previous survey options just to kind of have those in mind in case we want to go to them, because I think some of them do make a lot of sense as far as what to add at Carowinds. So I think we can definitely look at those to at least think about as far as incorporating into the plan. Some potential spaces for new attractions. Drop Tower, its plot is, I believe, still vacant, along with Nighthawk. That's probably the big one there. I kind of looked at the satellite. There might be some parking lot space that could be used. Josh, you can correct me if I'm wrong there. Any plot of land we use for rides that are removed as well as an option. I did throw the Carowinds Palladium as a potential option, just because it doesn't seem to be used much.
They've started using it more. They have like the summer concert series, and
Yeah.
they had higher profile people. Like had Flo Rida come in a couple years ago, I think. But this year I looked at the list. There's no one that I personally recognized, but they are making use of it over the course of the summer season. So
Okay. And that includes like this season, correct?
yes, yeah,
Okay. Because I looked into it, I saw that they had started kind of using it more again the past few years, so that's good to hear. I just threw it in there just because like maybe later on they decide they don't want to use it, but I
yeah,
would assume it's something that I assume you'd probably want to keep, but it is also a lot of space, and if you're not using it much or getting the most out of it, it is an option. Not at all saying that we have to use all these spaces. Those are just some areas that stood out.
yeah. No problem. I'm just letting you know for your brain. So
Gotcha. No, that's perfect. Um, and then I just had some areas of improvement that I thought, but I'll just honestly move past that.
yeah, no problem.
We can kind of discuss those later on. So here's the 10-year plan. It'll be obviously filled out once we're going through it. I also have separate things if we need more space for the individual years, because we ran into a problem of running out of space with JB Thrill. So I have these if we want to add like more like little things like repaints and whatnot, or ride upgrades like we did over there. So with that being said, I'm actually going to exit out of this slideshow. I'll zoom in here so that way I can actually start editing. And we can get this thing started. So 2028, 55th anniversary of Carowinds. It'll also be the year after this massive new addition, Rip Roaring Falls. I will say like 55th anniversary. I think they'll definitely do something with that, but I don't think it'll be too crazy because it's not like a 50th or like 60th. But I do not expect this to be a massive year, but I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think could happen here, Josh.
Yeah, so I was doing some thinking about the start of the plan specifically because those are going to be the easiest years to think through. The way I see it, the Nighthawk plot needs to be filled really as soon as it possibly can be. I
Yeah.
don't think the Nighthawk replacement would come in 2028 necessarily, but I do love the idea of a 2-year expansion of the front of the park. They just rethemed that area. When they rethemed Intimidator to Thunder Striker, they slapped the name Thunder Road on that area of the park. And they've made like little efforts at theming the area. They have a couple of food and drink stands that have some theming and fun names, midway games that match the theme of the area. But there are some things that I think they could do to really mail that Thunder Road theme home. And while they're working in that area of the park, why not, fold in the Nighthawk replacement to fit the area? So
For sure. And actually, I completely agree with what you're thinking. I was brainstorming. I also figured, yeah, Nighthawk, we need to replace that plot of land. And now that you mentioned that Thunder Road, they kind of just slapped that name. In making more improvements there, I think makes sense. I actually do have a proposition because I did think about this earlier. We could potentially add a new ride in 28.
I was thinking the same thing.
in in the Thunder Road area, because currently they have Ripcord there, right? It's next
Mhm.
to the Nighthawk plot. And I
And those
was,
are getting axed across the chain.
yep. Something I thought of, especially because I was looking at the parks, right, that are no long, like they're going to be going away in Great America and Six Flags
Mhm.
America as far as options for rides.
Yep.
Something that made sense to me would be actually Six Flags America's Zamperla Giga Discovery,
Mm.
um, in that Ripcord plot. I think maybe that's that. I mean, I know that is a
I think
pretty big
is that
flat
one?
ride,
I think
but
it's a giant and not a giga.
oh, my bad. I
Very
think
good.
you're right. But yes. But basically, because I know Carowinds had a Giga Discovery in their survey previously,
Mhm.
that's one that's just like up for grabs. They can relocate it wherever.
Yep.
Carowinds has had an interest in putting one in. I feel like that Ripcord plot, they could probably take that out and utilize it, um, to put that in, and that
Mhm.
would be cheaper than getting a brand new ride since you're relocating something you already have.
Gotcha.
And it's new, so it's also not like it's, something you're just gonna plop in and it's only there like a few years, like we've seen some past
Yep.
relocations. This would be there for the long haul, so
Mhm. Yep. So my idea very similar to that. I have always liked the idea of them giving us the Discovery from Six Flags America. I just don't know, and this is the reason why I brought up the giant versus Giga thing. Um, Not to pat my home park on the back, but we are high on the Six Flags totem pole. I find it hard to imagine that they wouldn't go with a Giga Discovery if they were going to do a Discovery, especially because that's what was in the survey. But my idea, and mainly just because it looks so similar, and I think it would just be a great addition, and this was also in the survey, would be an SNS Scream and Swing to
okay.
replace Ripcord. And they could, I mean, Ripcord, I think, is 150 feet tall. They could match that really easily, market it as the world's tallest Scream and Swing, and it would look so good in the skyline. So,
Okay, I'm definitely down for that. Because I think both of those make a lot of sense. As far as, I mean, they're relatively similar in terms of what they accomplish. And yeah, the Scream and Swing would look pretty sick. So I'm honestly down for putting that for 28.
cool.
If you're cool with that, and I can also add in, um, general, like probably Thunder Road, like
I have
improve
some little ideas that I can bring up specifics if you want. I don't know how
for
narrow you
sure.
want me to get on this. So,
So let me do, and this is gonna be a 2 year. So I will do SNS Scream and Swing, and then what else were you thinking?
and this goes a little deeper and probably isn't necessary, but given the way that Six Flags is emphasizing theming and just a centralized experience, I wanted to bring it up. When they rethemed Thunderstriker, they gave it this whole story, and you can still find it, I believe, on the website. But they did nothing to change the theme. It still feels like Deep South NASCAR Speedway with all the palm trees and the checkered flag out front. It is still racing, but it's more like a backwoods, like in the mud kind of race. You can find I can pull it up right now. I'm on my computer. Duh. So yeah, Thunder Striker.
I
Unless
will
they
put it
changed.
up here as well, or well, not like on screen, but I'll look it into it here.
Hmm. Yep.
Is
Thunder
it
Striker
like?
was the champion of the dirt road racers.
Oh, I do
Built in the
see
back
that.
of Earl's garage. They came up with this character Earl for it on Thunder
Hmm.
Road. So I was hoping, and I know it would be pretty similar to Copperhead Strike's theming, but if they wanted to completely redo the station and make it look like Earl's Garage, or something I just forgot about that I just remembered now, when they first opened Thunder Striker, they temporarily renamed the store. I think it's called Victory Lane right now, but they renamed it to Earl's Garage. And I know I'm not hallucinating this because I remember looking at it on maps and thinking, man, that is a bit of missed potential there. Um, so if they wanted to go all in with the theme that they came up with for the ride, um, retheme the station, retheme the store, you wouldn't have to do much more than that, I don't think. So
Okay. I'll just refer to it as
yeah, that's
Thunder
good.
Striker storyline theming. That sounds good. And then yeah, I mean that should be something that's pretty basic. They can also probably incorporate uh, items throughout, like kind of nearby as well that fit in
Just
as you
like
were
props
saying.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that that works, and that's a pretty no. I would say that's like that's a pretty good addition, but I think it's also like a good lead up for 29, which is gonna
Yes.
be the big addition. So
Mm.
I think that works. Anything else? And actually, I wanted to. I remember when I was watching, I there are still some areas of Carowinds. A lot of the newer areas, I noticed they have like the I don't know what you call it, but they instead of having blacktop, they have like brick tile, like
Mm.
basically.
Pavers, I think, or what they call them.
Yeah. I forget if Thunder Road what they have, if it's blacktop, if it's
There's quite a bit of
pavers.
concrete. I think over by like Sky Tower, there may be some older asphalt,
Mm,
but a lot of the newer, like over near Harmony Hall, that's all. None of that is blacktop anymore. If it was before, so
okay.
it's mostly pavers. I'll say that, and
Yeah,
just open. So
I I think you're right because I think I was expecting it to be like the asphalt or like the blacktop, but then I was watching the walkthrough today and it wasn't. So
mm,
I'm just kind of keeping that in mind as far as like if we do something with one of the other areas that currently still has
mm,
asphalt, that might be something to consider.
did you
I
want to
believe
label on the slide removing ripcord for the scream and swing?
yes, I will actually have that above because that's going to be a 2027
Gotcha.
thing. So let's see. All right. And then I think that'll do for
Mm.
now. I can add
One more
ripcord replacement.
thing, and this would be separate from Thunder Road. This is very small, just because parks change their food menus a lot. But Carowinds food, both in terms of quantity and quality, I felt like was specifically better before this season. Even the first
Mm,
year with the merger, I thought the food felt pretty solid in 2025, and I'm pretty easy to please with park food, but it feels like it's taken a bit of a step down this year to me. So now that we have a park president again and have more, and she has more autonomy, um, I would like to see a couple of the restaurants be restored to their former glory. So you can just put
okay.
like menu overhauls. It doesn't have to be anything too specific.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. That's I think hitting on a lot of different things, so that works. So, all right. Think that'll probably conclude for 28 unless you have anything else, but I think that's a pretty
I
good list
think
there.
that's all I can think of for the first year of what would be an expansion of Thunder Road.
Pritchard does appreciate your suggestion, so shout out. I'll go through the chat here in case I missed anything. Vekoma Family Launch is actually an extremely expensive ride, so that's not like a little addition.
How much
Uh,
is Big Bear?
30 mil.
Wow, really?
Yes,
I mean,
yeah,
it
no,
makes
the
sense with like the onboard audio, but
yeah, onboard audio adds a ton to the cost, is what I've
mm,
heard. I'm scared. I know that I don't think Werewolf Gorge has onboard audio, but I wouldn't be surprised if cost wise that's one of the most expensive investments in at least Legacy Six Flags
Yep.
history.
Well, even below the
Um,
beer, isn't Eagle's Pursuit like 13 mil?
it
And it's not even
15,
2,000 feet long.
yeah, 15 million, I believe
Jeez.
is what it was.
Yeah, those are no
So
joke.
yeah, so that's not a. Granted, I don't know what the price of a SNS Scream and Swing is, to be fair, but
I would
um,
assume, and this is just a rough guess, I may be way off, but like 5 million maybe. Because flats aren't as
yeah,
expensive.
they're not gonna be. It's not gonna be close to what we're talking about with like a family lunch. I know
Mm.
that, but um, unfortunately, yeah, I don't have that info. But yeah,
Can't be any more than 10. I'd be shocked if it was over 10.
yeah. But at this point, a family lunch would at this point, especially if we're talking Vekoma, you're might as well like as far as like cost and how big of an addition it is. I think it's on the same level and tier as like if not in some cases more than like some of the throwing coasters you see, like say a B&M dive or something like that. Well,
Mm.
actually, it's probably the ones the big bears of the world and Werewolf Gorge is probably more than that to be honest. So
I can't imagine how much that's going to cost with all the theming that it looks like they're going to
yeah, nah, but I do love that addition for Fiesta. But um, let's see, SNS Scream and Swing. Oh, Overtext fan mentioned the Scream and Swing in between both borders. That would be kind of cool. I don't think that would be the
That would
case in
be
this
that
area,
would be
but
pretty sick.
that would be a
You
cool
could color
idea.
code it, split it down the middle.
But um, I think we might be able to get back to the Giga Discovery at some point. That might end
I
up
think so.
coming down the line. Actually, we'll see. Um, but yeah, so um, Family Boomerang probably would be a more cost-effective family coaster if we wanted to do that. Um, but that's also in the future. Anyways, 2029. This is going to be the Nighthawk replacement year. A lot of potential options. I'll let you lead with ones you want to throw out there. I do have some of my own as well, but
Mm.
I'll let you
I mean,
take the
I'll
lead
just
here.
rip the band-aid off now. I not only do I think this could be it, but it's exactly what I want would be a Vekoma tilt. And it
Okay,
doesn't have to be super duper tall, just enough to fill the land with a full layout, like a square shaped layout. Maybe take it over the water a little bit, but you wouldn't have to do that too much.
gotcha. No, I think that would be a great fit because it feels like this plot of land. It's like I know I think B&M Dive was something that was brought up previously, and so it
Mhm.
still kind of is in the same line. And I think for at
I
least
feel like it has to be one of those two. And
hmm
maybe I'm just biased because I want a tilt, but I can picture a tilt in that skyline so easily. And with the plot, just the shape of the plot, I feel like lends itself better to a tilt, especially if you had the lift facing the same way as Nighthawk. I don't know if you know how that was set up, but back by the station, it would lift and then it would take you right up to about where you can walk up and see the construction fences today. And then it
okay,
would turn. If you did a tilt and then a 90-degree drop, just like Siren's Curse, you could very easily fit that in. I know you could do that with a dive too, just with a 90-degree turn off the lift. But come on, imagine a tilt there. That would be
yeah,
so
nah,
awesome.
that would be sick. I was those were the top two that I well that and the B&M dive. I think most people would be, or at least enthusiasts would be more intrigued with the tilt. So I do kind of lean that way. Also, it's a more unique ride at this point as of
Mhm.
right now. So, and I think as you said, I don't think this is one where you need to make it ridiculously tall or anything. Uh,
Just
just
Southeast first tilt coaster. Just
yeah.
disregard a certain coaster at Universal that I may not. I'm going to refrain from spoiling in case somebody hasn't ridden it. So
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, I think that would be perfect. I feel like the tilt coaster is going to be for this series. It's going to be I think a common uh,
mm,
option that at least gets considered. Um, the only one I like this a lot less than the other two, and I'd have it probably doesn't even really fit with the plot of land, And I actually typically don't love replacing a coaster with something that's very similar to the thing you replaced in the same plot of land. However, I will give the Vekoma Thrill Glider a bit of a shout out here. Not that we're
Sure.
gonna do it, but just wanted to throw it in there as a model. But I think the tilt or dive is a lot better, and I think we're probably gonna lean tilt. So um, we'll do Vekoma tilt, and actually I'll do this as part of Thunder Road Overhaul Part 2. And that'll be that. All right. So I think if there's anything else, but I think honestly that's probably good enough as
Mm.
far as we're probably good this year. That's a pretty massive addition.
The
So,
only the only other thing that popped into my head would be possibly replacing, because there's Panda Express down there,
mm,
and I don't know exactly how Six Flags feels about outside parties. I mean, they have Starbucks, and they're not going to close Starbucks, and Panda may be fine, but I'm also speaking as someone who the one time they ate at that Panda, they got food poisoning. So,
oof.
I if they really wanted to extend the Thunder Road overhaul all the way through what would be Thunder Road, because I imagine Kitty Hawk would fit pretty well in Thunder Road. They wouldn't really have to touch it. I would love lap bar trains, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. So, but if they wanted to do a signature restaurant in Thunder Road, Panda closing Panda would be the only real way for that to work. And I know they have Harmony Hall just down the
Mm.
way, so they may not even think to touch it at all if it ain't
We
broken.
can do a Panda Express replacement. I don't think it would be a wait Harmony Hall. That is, man. I had written out like all the areas with where the restaurants are. Was that not technically part of Thunder Road?
I
Or
think it I think it is now, just because
okay.
of where. So the entire front of the park isn't technically Thunder Road. The very front is still, I think, International Street.
Mm,
But once you get over to Thunder Striker and pretty much over past Kitty Hawk, it's just a matter of whether or not they really want the entire area to feel like Thunder Road versus just, tackling the high profile sections like Thunder Striker or this tilt coaster or whatever will replace Nighthawk. So,
okay. I definitely think we can replace Panda Express with a restaurant that would be more tied into the area. I think that actually does make sense. Um,
maybe even just like, I know Six Flags Over Georgia opened a new sandwich shop, and it seems like it looks pretty good. Um, Maybe something like that. If it's successful down there, then I'd like to have something like that at my home park. So,
that okay. So let's see. Um, so sandwich shop, would that be a potential idea or that we could use for this?
it's not going to look super glamorous, but it's our plan. So,
All right. I'll do in theme sandwich shop. So we'll do that. All right. All right. Well, that looks good to me. That takes us to 2030, which again I anticipate
mm,
probably this one probably a smaller year. At this point, we're a decent bit past the closures of Six Flags America, so I'm guessing they probably would have reallocated anything they had left to use. Great America, maybe
so
if we want to
yeah.
look at that, but let me see what I have as far as I
Mm.
had like I don't think I had much from Great America. I don't think there was much that made sense honestly as far as the takeover there.
Yeah, unless they wanted to take a couple of like the Planet Snoopy rides and put them in Carowinds Camp Snoopy,
Yeah.
I find it hard to imagine they'd get a vultured ride. And I threw
Yeah.
around, so this is going to kind of segue into a potential idea for the next couple of years. The only reason that I would try to shove possibly a Carolina Harbor edition into
Yes.
2030 is because they haven't gotten a slide since 2021.
Okay. I
So,
actually do like that. No, I think that makes sense. Um I do have. I don't know as far as I know it's next to the parking lot, or at least part of it is. So I don't know if there's some space in the lot that could theoretically be used for an expansion, or how you would potentially. Um,
I think they could. There's a little bit, and I was looking at Google Earth just to make sure that I wasn't crazy. Um, so there's two wave pools, and the one closer to the front of the park is bigger, but
mm,
there is still some space, like some grassy space, and you'd have to kind of route it around what's currently. I mean, it would stay, but it's like bathrooms and lockers and everything. They would need to build a path around it a little bit, and they could take a little chunk out of the parking lot that's closer to the entrance, but they could fit something there. I think there are a couple spots like in the center of the park, some of the grassier areas that they could potentially shove a slide into as well. So,
okay. Because one of the things I didn't look too deep into the water slide options. I know they love working with Whitewater West though.
mhm.
I mean clearly, and they're also
Yep.
working with them for the log flume too. But I know that Kings Island got a. In this case, it was a dueling Master Blasters. I
Yes.
don't know if we would necessarily do dueling, but Carowinds does not currently have a water coaster right now,
Mhm. They
correct?
do not.
So I that's something that I was looking at, maybe just a Whitewater West
Mhm.
Master Blaster. I
Yep.
don't know if you had other ideas as far as the slide goes, but
Yep. Well,
that's something
I
that
had
intrigued
specifically
me.
checked because Six Flags America got their own master. It was that it's a single master,
Mm,
but I had
okay.
forgotten that that one was single and Kings Islands was a racing one. And I don't know how much they would care about doubling the capacity. It'd just be for doubling capacity more than anything. But if they didn't care about making it a dueling water coaster, they could just easily take the one from Six Flags America's water park and have that
Okay.
be a vulture.
My question is, I know that some of the water coasters at some of the hurricane harbors haven't been the most reliable. I have no idea as
Mhm.
far as if that one
I'm not sure
has
either.
had anything. And actually, what year was that? That wasn't too long ago, right?
Let me
So
see.
I'm a look it up because I should have looked. I didn't even think to look at the Hurricane Harbor or water slides at Great America. That's a
Rip
great
Curl
call out.
Blaster opened on May
Um,
25th, 2024. So it is
okay, so
very
yeah, it's stupid new. So if they want, so if they wanted to, and I assume those are you could relocate if you wanted to.
I can't imagine that'd be hard. So,
Yeah, I mean we've seen slide structures and slides get relocated before, so I feel like it
mm,
should be feasible.
yep.
And especially now that I think about it, the way they're built, yeah, it should be relocatable. So um, that's honestly a good call out that we could. I mean, especially because we didn't even vulture anything else from any of the parks yet. This could be
Mm,
the thing we'd vulture.
yep. My only
Um,
question, and I don't want it to affect what we have here, I just wonder if they would, in the event that they were to do this, extend it out to 2030, 5
mm,
years after the park closes. But I don't think we should try to shove it into 28 or 29 just because those are pretty big years already.
I mean,
So,
you can just store it in a lot or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, you can figure that out as far as storing it.
Yep. And I can't
I
imagine that would stop them. So,
Yeah, so I think that works. So um, so let's see.
if you want to
Man,
be technical with it, they called it Rip Curl Blaster. Rip Curl is one word, but it has a Q instead of a C. So,
yeah, I remember when this thing got announced, which is kind of crazy in hindsight. But although I could say that with most 2010s and the few 2020s Six Flags America editions, and that is yeah, it is a Master Blaster. So I won't call it by the name, but we'll do. Um, Carolina Harbor, and then we'll do um,
Still haven't done a Master Blaster. I guess. Well, I just I just named the one at Kalahari in Virginia. They did a naming contest, and they picked my name. So now I'm gonna get to go ride it at some point.
Yeah, I did see that. Congratulations, by the way. That's really cool.
I submitted like 75 names for that.
Oh my god.
Yep.
So hey, hey, that's the trick. So
If it works, it works.
there you go. Let's see. I did see some things related to the water park. Lily mentions the slides in the back are old and not very
Hmm.
popular.
Yeah, like Storm Surge. There's this big, tall slide tower. I think it's probably about 80, 90 feet tall, if I had to guess. They're really fast, really intense body slides. The
mm,
top two are body slides. The bottom two, I think, are tube slides. They are quite old, and I know the body slides are pretty rough on your back. So,
2001 is for Storm Surge.
hmm,
If my research was right there. So I did list all the slides with the years, and yeah, that's
gotcha.
one of the older ones.
Hmm.
So that's a good shout out.
Yep. They have an old family raft slide too. I think it's called Hurricane Falls.
Yeah, that's 1997.
I don't think they gut that'd be a harder one to gut just because it's one of the higher capacity slides and it's accessible. But I don't know. We've seen some old ones get removed over time, so thought it was worth
Okay,
mentioning.
that's good to mention. I will see depending on this. I imagine we might end up doing another Carolina Harbor edition at some
Yeah.
point.
I
So
like Harper's a good water park, but it needs more investment. It They need more reasons to keep me coming back frequently other than just location convenience. So
gotcha. But um, Over Texas fan is saying they think Hurricane Harbor Arlington is getting that
oh,
the water coaster.
well, if that's the
Um,
case, they could just give us a River Racers clone and call it a day.
yeah, I mean if they get a Master Blaster, just plug it in whatever the heck it is, whether it's this one or the Dualian or another just new one. So I think either way it works. Um, Anything else for 2030? Are we good for 2031?
Um, Aside from just general park improvements, I'm trying to think if there's anything that would be really nice. The walk between the front of the park and then you probably saw it on the walkthrough. There's this big tunnel and it has like all these
Yeah, the
plants.
plants. Yep, I did
Yeah.
see
A
that.
lot of the ground there is still asphalt and some of it's not the best shape. So if they wanted to
Mm,
repave that section before the park would open for 2030, that could be
gotcha.
nice. And then set up potentially for something else. Something else I did want to mention, and you may know about this, but there was supposed to be so where Rip Roaring Falls is, the entrance is going to be next to Fury, but there
Mm,
was supposed to be a connecting path that would cycle it around where the Scrambler used to be and into Carousel Park. And in the initial site plan for the Flume, they were going to have a restaurant on the backside of Papa Luigi's, which is a little pizza restaurant that's
yeah.
currently in um, Carousel Park. And we could do this for either 2030 or 2031, but I think that would be a really good thing for the park. It would make it easier to get around, and it would really complete the area that they're building for Rip Roaring Falls. And it just
Okay.
looks good in Carousel Park, I think. So, and that would be a nice, easy-ish non-ride addition that we could do. It's probably more appropriate for 2031 now that you're typing it out. So,
Yeah, I think so. As far as because yeah, I think that would be good and like I think that'd be decently notable just because I know that people have wanted that for like
mm,
a good while.
yeah.
So um, and that would so you said Rip Roaring falls to like Fury 325, but what are like the areas like I'm connecting just to
You'd be connecting Thrill Zone, specifically Fury and Thrill Zone, to Carousel Park around the
okay.
back.
All right.
like via Rip Roaring Falls or something.
And new restaurant as well with that.
Yeah. So my idea for that,
Yeah. Oh,
if you've been Dollywood and Silver Dollar City have these like skillet restaurants and they always smell really good as you walk by. I got to try the one at Silver Dollar City. They did like this succotash bowl with chicken and it was really good. And I would love to see something along the lines of that kind of food over by Rip Roaring Falls.
all right. Sounds good. All right. So we got that. Oh, let me go back here. All right. Some of this, if it gets too big, I'll just like paste it over onto the other page, but we're not quite there yet.
No
So
problem.
let's see. So anything? So well, I get we finished 2030. We're doing the Carolina Harbor. I guess theoretically the repave. I don't. That could be 30 or 31, but this is kind of I
Mhm.
guess a small area, so I feel like they could kind of throw it in.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's kind of the precursor to what they would do with the bigger path that they would build around Rip Roaring Falls.
okay, and so 2031, we're doing that path along with this
Mhm.
new skillet restaurant that would be like a new that would be like a new signature restaurant for the park. So you
Mhm.
have that.
And the big thing
Um,
is that it would share, like, it would be back to back with Papa Luigi's. So the idea
mm-hmm.
is that they could share materials potentially. So,
Great. Okay. Um, and then so since we're on 2031, I mean, I think that's fine. Not every year has to have a new attraction or ride because
Mhm.
it's not really realistic.
Yep.
So I think that can just kind of be a um, we're doing that and we have the new restaurant and the new path and we're probably set unless we want to do anything else.
Mhm.
But
Well, if you
um,
want to talk Carousel Park, Vortex is right there, and then there's the Slingshot right next to it.
okay, that's good to know. Actually, Vortex, I feel like we should probably, and doing something with Carousel Park, I feel like that should be coming up pretty quick. I feel
Yeah.
like
We
so.
could. I feel like both would need to go, and the fact that they removed it's the Slingshot at Kings Island, right? And that one's not. I don't think that one was super old. Let me look that up real quick.
I know the one here is like really new. It's like what 2015, or am I
Yeah,
getting
it
the
opened
ripcord
with
mixed
Fury.
up? Yeah, no, it was like I was like surprised when I looked at it.
Mhm.
I was like, whoa, that's like a really new
Kings
slingshot.
Islands was 2002. Lasted 20 years. I closed in 22. That feels a lot more recent than 22. But
I think they maybe closed it, but it may I maybe they was SPNO for like a little bit.
Mhm.
Might have been one
Yeah.
of those situations.
Yeah. Either way,
Um,
it'll. I don't think it has a long future at the park.
no,
So,
I don't
and I
think
think
so.
when Vortex goes, it's just so close to Vortex that it's probably going to go too.
Okay. So my question now is that are we thinking that actually, well, 2033, if you want, although we've seen parks deviate from this and add the big edition either the year before or the year after the anniversary.
Hmm.
So it's not like we have to do the big splash edition on the 60th, which is in 2033. But I do wonder
I think it
if,
makes sense.
okay.
Carowinds, I mean, we've had longer attraction gaps, especially coaster gaps, since the pandemic, just because we've had some years where either something's been delayed or we've just gotten a new ride at all. So,
Hmm,
but
okay.
assuming the chain recovers nicely and they're probably going to streamline their park portfolio a little more so they'll have more money to port into their big parks. They may put something bigger for Carowinds on the front burner. May and this is just all theoretical, but I think 2033 would not be a bad year to open something at least semi big, but we can very easily push anything to 2034 just for the sake of realism and whatnot.
Okay. But I don't know if we're actually going to do this in 2032, but I did throw in close Vortex and Slingshot. Um,
I think that feels about right. Maybe if they wanted to run Vortex a little longer, just because it got a new control panel not too long ago, so it's not like it's coughing and wheezing, begging for death. But and they did just repaint it too.
Well, this is
Um,
2032 though, so I mean
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
that's that. I
If they
think
wanted,
by then.
depending on the state of Vortex, if they wanted to just let it run for one more season, just because it's higher capacity than Slingshot, maybe they would stagger the removals and do Slingshot the year before, like maybe 2031, and then give Vortex all of 32 to run into the ground.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So we can do that, and I'll just. Why is the font here smaller? I don't know why. I'm gonna fix that.
It may be. Are you at the bottom of the slide? It may be resizing something.
Yeah, I think it is. It is. So the problem is I have it on this like tiny window because I have to because I have all this other
Mhm.
stuff.
Nah, you're fine. Don't worry
So
about it.
I will readjust this real quick. So yeah, I did something goofy. So it was no, it was at 12. So yeah, it did do that.
That's all
So
right.
I'm gonna just I'll have it here at 11 because I'm pretty sure it's at it. No, it is at 11 currently. So
Mm.
okay, we at least fixed that. So I think I at least adjusted that. But anyways, okay. So um, I'm gonna paste some of this I think over to that 5-year slide.
That
So
sounds
that
good.
way that just makes it a little easier. So or well, yeah, but we can take these out. So we'll do that. Oh, this is where having a monitor would be good because I'm doing this all off of one thing and it's like, oh man. Um, but anyways, we'll just do this. Why? Okay. Boy, this is frustrating. Okay. I will, yeah. We'll do that for now.
There it is.
Not pretty looking. Yeah, I have too many tabs and it's too small. So, all right. So, okay, we have that. I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, and then I'm gonna shrink some of these items. So,
No problem.
yeah, so that way we have more room to work with. So, anyways,
Good.
uh, chat if you have any other ideas as far or just thoughts on the as far as what we could do with specifically we're looking at Carousel Park, that plot, that would be great. And then actually I think that's probably enough room to work with for 2032 if we want to do anything more. So hopefully not on the Fury support. We will hope that does not happen. I think we are okay there. But let's see. So 2032, well, 2031, we ended it with we are closing Slingshot, and then we'll close Vortex. Is there anything else we want to do in the year of 2032? We did discuss the Discovery from Six Flags America earlier. We decided to go with an S&S Scream and Swing instead, but same basic idea that was discussed earlier though.
Run the carousel at 2x speed.
For the 50.
Like when it breaks, if you've played the old Roller Coaster Tycoons, when the carousel breaks and it starts to spin out
Oh
of
my
control,
god! Yeah,
the music gets all
wouldn't
distorted.
that be something? I did consider doing something goofy for the 55th, like just I don't, but
Mm.
like doing something with like some one of the trains on like one of the coasters, like run after Burns, like have a train go backwards or something. I don't know, but they did do it with the fifth Batman clones back in the day, so shout out.
Nice.
I did
I,
ride the Magic Mountain one that way many years ago, but I was a younger enthusiast and
mm.
I didn't like it as much. I wish I could have ridden it many years later that way because it would probably be insane. So, um, but anyways, back to this. If we're thinking either 33 or 34 is going to be the big like kind of vortex
Mm.
year or vortex slingshot like replacement year. Um, well, we already did close slingshot, so if we want to do something with Apollon of Lane, we could do it. We also could just stick to like kind of general upgrades as
I
well.
think in my mind, whatever replaces Vortex, just because that's not a very big plot,
Hmm.
having the little strip of land like where Slingshot is, but also where the paths around it currently are, um, they could probably use as much land as they can get for whatever replaces Vortex. Um, so I think whatever replace, yeah, I think any new ride should take the plots of both rides.
Okay, so then at that point, then that solves
Mm.
that.
One thing for Carousel Park is that's where the park's theater is at.
Yep.
And they run shows in there throughout the year. Some are more like park promotional, others are seasonal, but they don't have like a mainstay when nothing seasonal is happening. This is what's running in the theater kind of show. So
Okay.
I would love if they did just like a signature show and just run it in there whenever they're not doing, like their Christmas shows, or that's where they at the start of the season they had like a little meeting in there and they talked about additions coming for the upcoming season. And I know that they do like a music festival in the spring and they'll have middle and high school students come and perform, uh, music students. So they'll
Okay.
probably need to still use the theater for those times, but when there's nothing running in there, at least consistently, I would love to see a consistent, like maybe Snoopy themed show, maybe something park original, maybe use the old characters that the park, like revive the old characters that the
Ooh,
park.
that'd be fun.
So
Okay. I will. I'll just label this new signature show, and I'll put in the
yeah,
other one. We'll have the old characters in that. So let me do that. All right. So,
got Snoopy fans in the chat.
um, why not both? Although I don't know, that might be asking a lot. But um, the chat does like Snoopy though, so
Who doesn't?
maybe we will give it to him. Um, so because they do have some. Don't do they not have some shows that are utilizing the characters? Because isn't there something that they do at like the at Harmony Hall with the
Um,
Peanuts characters,
yeah, they do like a
or is that a
stage
meet and
show.
greet? Oh, okay, it is a
And that
show.
cycle, it's cycled a couple times. The one they have now is like it's like a talent show when they go to camp.
Mm,
I've seen it a couple times eating my food. Um, so maybe that could fuel the revive old characters argument. I think that would
okay.
be really cool.
Actually, yeah. No, I think if they want to do anything more, they just use that, and then
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think
And
that
that's a
works
great way to
perfectly.
get longtime locals excited just because those are the characters that they grew up seeing.
Yeah. No, that I think that works. So I like that. So I think 2032. That'll be the plan there. They used to do a Cirque du Soleil style show in the theater. That's pretty neat, actually. Did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Uh,
That's sick.
Can Expert asks, what are the two coasters in the thumbnail? Okay, so the first one that is the Vekoma on my side in the bubble is just a recolored Wrath of Zeus. And then the one I have for Josh's bubble is Wrath of Rakshasa, which is also just recolored. So yeah, they. Uh, I mean, honestly, like I mean, very very basic, like just kind of like threw that together. But if you're wondering, like, wait, I don't know those types of coasters that color scheme, it's because there aren't. So um,
Well, Wrath of Zeus would need a repaint like that. It's gotten bleached so fast.
oh yeah, no, it is. Yeah, crazy what the climate
I
can
can't
do.
believe it. But it is what it is. So
Yeah, but let's see what else. 2033. So I know you were saying we could either do the big replacement either the year of the 50th or the year after. I think kind of with the way we formatted this, I think 33 could be the year. We've
mhm.
had 2 straight years of more so kind of we added a new restaurant, a new pathway, new entertainment, but now it's been a few years since we've actually added an actual like either ride or
Yeah.
attraction.
And I'm
So I
glad you
think
brought that up because it may be easier to remove Vortex in 31 if they want to clear the land faster for a 33 opening. So
mm, that's
maybe they
fair.
just remove them both in 2031. That wouldn't be hard to do.
Okay. That is fair because yeah, no, that does take a decent bit of work.
And it gives them
And
time to tease and just all the things.
yeah, because they'll have the show in that area, so it's like you already have
Mhm.
something going on that's new, and that'll be the big new thing for 2032. And then it's like, oh, what's going on over here? So I do like that. So I think we'll
And looking down to
shift that.
2032 now, this is something I wanted to bring up at some point, and now that we've kind of cleared up some space in 32, maybe a good year to do it. The parking lot has seen better days. It's kind of like a mini Magic Mountain parking lot, and
Oh man.
that parking lot is the pin. But there's a lot of torn up asphalt in that parking lot, and it's pretty compact. I would love to see some sort of parking lot overhaul project, either just repave everything or change the way everything's routed. That would be my big dream to make it just way easier to get in and out of the park in general. But
All right. And are we saying that for 32 or 30
now that we
or
have
33?
32, I mean, a show, I mean, it wouldn't be that expensive, I imagine. So if
Okay.
they're willing to pour the money into a parking lot renovation, I think that would be great for 32 for just a general park improvement year.
And I'll have both rerouting and repave
Yep.
in here just to have a little more specifics. I'll probably also readjust this a little bit as well after the stream just to make it a little easier to read, and whenever I post it. But I think it's still relatively good as is right now. So, all right. So let's see where are we at.
Great
Okay,
day for a
so
parking lot.
halfway through, a little less than an hour in. So that's actually pretty solid timing wise.
Great.
So yeah, this is 2033. This is going to be the Vortex replacement. I mean, well, the fact that it already closed in 2031 probably was already a cause for celebration for a lot of people, but the replacement will be the cherry on top of that.
Yep.
That is not a plot of land I've studied that much as far as what could go there.
I haven't really looked either, and I cannot tell you for a second what I think should go there right now. But I can pull up
I'll
Google
throw
Earth
the
and
throw
kind
glider again. I'll throw it out there.
of cool. So it
So
looks like I'm just kind of guesstimate with Google Earth here, but it'd be great if you showed me the little ruler that I'm used to seeing. There it is.
because I know it's relatively compact, and also it's not a
Yeah,
very tall coaster either. So
yeah. Whatever they add, I mean, it'd probably end up being like family thrill scale. If they wanted to do something thrilling, they would have to make it really compact. So
Okay.
all I can think of that would make sense for a thrill edition would be like the versions of the SNS Axis with a lift hill.
Uh,
Those are I'm not
I
sure
don't
that it would
love
ever get an
that.
Axis. I'm just
Yeah.
spitballing at this point. But I do think not only would a family thrill edition probably fit better, but it probably just makes more sense for whatever would go there.
Okay. And that
Then
that
again,
could
they could just go big.
that could be also, and I'm trying to look at the survey stuff on Carowinds and seeing if anything makes sense. I
Mhm.
mean, they did have. I know that it showed the Zamparallel family, but they have had like a family thrill launch coaster.
Mhm.
So if we wanted to go back that route and just kind of get like a smaller one from Vekoma, that could work.
Or even like a quantum accelerator scale intimate or something.
Ooh, I do like the the straddle shout out. The only thing is the straddles, the kind of disadvantage for those is, to my understanding, all of those have a 48-inch height requirement, which for something you want to make like accessible is I think kind of a little bit of
Yeah.
a
Well, then maybe they
that
could.
hurts.
I mean, this would end up being smaller scale if they ever shoved it in, unless they did something crazy. But possibly just a Vekoma family launch. I know we talked about how
Hmm.
expensive for an addition just on that plot, especially, but it's worth considering.
Yeah, I think it could work. And I mean, yes, it'll be a decent bit, but like also we're talking about 2033. Who knows what the heck the
Mhm.
cost of things is going to be anyways. So like it's
Yep.
just kind of like when you're playing that far out, it's kind of like, well, I think that's a good shout. I mean, I think it makes sense, and we know they can make those pretty small. So there is that.
Maybe maybe they could go with like I don't Carowinds doesn't have a spinning coaster.
That's true. That's a good
And I'm
point.
not sure who they would go with for this theoretical spinning coaster. But I mean, Vekoma has, they could kind of modify the Cosmic Rewind technology or something or other. They could just go with
Okay.
a mock or a mock, I guess.
I
That'd be
the
cool.
mock spinner idea would kind of be fun. I ain't
Mm.
gonna lie. Also, I don't know why. Just the fact maybe it's because it spins and like carousel is in a circle. I don't know why, but like the spinning coaster idea, like it kind of
I love that.
I can picture it being there. I
You know what?
definitely
After you said that,
can.
I want to make it a spinner, like a family spinner.
Okay. Yeah, nah, and I think mock is probably the right manufacturer I think to go with. Um, because I'm like thinking of the other ones. I would rather go mock if
Mm.
possible.
And they're
So,
cranking them out. They got the Ninjago ones at the
yep.
Legoland, the International Legoland parks. They're still building Sierra Sidewinder clones. It seems like every couple of years. So
Yeah, no, so that works. Actually, I'm gonna relabel this to Carousel Park Overhaul, also part one and part two.
Mhm.
So, although I know the closed rights are part of it, but I can't
Yep.
quite have it listed. So, um, and we'll do that. So, perfect. All right. So we got that. Um, would you want the family spinner to have a lift or a launch? I will just stick with. I personally would just stick with the lift because I know Mach has
I
done like a few spinners of a launch, but or like yeah, only a few.
mm,
So I'd rather just stick with what
I feel like having
they're
some
good
height
with.
there, just even just like a 60, 70 foot height, would be good for the area just as a whole. The
Yeah,
sight line and everything.
and out of curiosity, I want to look up how tall Sierra Sidewinder is because they can obviously build taller than that. That one's 64 feet, so maybe like a little taller, but like yeah, that
Aim for
height
like
sounds
70.
about right. So I think most of these are like in the 60 to 70 foot range.
Mm.
Uh, let's see. Um, yeah, so they can do that. So, um, okay, so that's 2033. I think that works perfectly.
I agree.
Um, let's see. I think one thing I do kind of want to mention before we get into these last 4 years here is I think one area that probably should get some attention at some point in the next few years is Thrill Zone.
Yes.
We still have yet to replace the Drop Tower or
Yeah.
Scream Weaver, which to be fair, sometimes parks take their time as far
Well,
as
For Screamweaver, they just moved the old Scrambler used to be in Carousel
oh
Park. They
right,
just
okay, you're
popped it over
right.
there.
So
But Drop
okay,
Tower, the sad thing about Drop Tower is that because it was in the corner of the area, it's so easy to just fence it off and forget that it was ever there.
dang.
So I don't think they'll ever touch that land until Hurler goes too. And they're gonna ride Hurler till the wheels fall off. So
That's a fair point.
yeah, sad but true. Sad but
Okay.
presumably true.
Um, I did have it on the Instagram thumb. By the way, we're not the Instagram thumbnail. I ain't gonna lie, or the promo post. I'm not gonna lie. Using the SNS spinning drop tower was like kind of like a clickbait thing. Like they don't, I think, even offer that anymore.
Really?
I
It's,
don't think it's on their website anymore. I looked for it.
I would love to see one, even just
I
one.
I would, but I also think I could see a world where maybe from a forces standpoint it might not be very comfortable like at
Yeah.
all. So I think maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's still on the site, but I tried looking for it and
Mm. I
outside
think
of like the
yeah.
YouTube videos and I don't think I saw that they they do it anymore. So I'm like I think they got rid of it.
Oh,
Although none of them were ever made to begin with, so um, but anyways, we're not doing that, by the way. So I
mm.
know I saw a comment like, "Don't do the SNS drop tower," and I wanted to mention that just because I thought it was funny. Um, but anyways, yeah, those are some ones to mention, and then the other thing too is either that or also like, although kind of the Carolina Boardwalk also hasn't like really been touched at all here, and they have some
Mm.
aging attractions.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider as well.
Mm.
But I
I
don't
will
think we'll be able
say
to get to
for
all
the
of it.
area, it's looking good. They've poured more attention into that than I think a lot of people realize. There have been some just little theming enhancements here and there. When they repainted Cyclone, and this is just really minor, but they added a couple prop inflatables and ore rows, I guess, or paddles or whatever, in the corner of the station. And there's a store in there that just got renovated a couple years ago. It has full AC and um, clothes that fit the theme. It's a fine looking area. I don't think there's any need to touch anything until it's time to remove an attraction.
Okay,
So,
that's good to know.
except for maybe I believe there's some asphalt over there and it doesn't look great. Like it's not in bad shape, but I'm pretty sure there is asphalt over there they could look to replace with pavers at some point. So,
Okay, that's probably something we can throw in one of the years because that.
mm,
But I think now that you mentioned that, then that makes it less dire of a situation. It's like okay, as far as probably the like last like super major thing, we probably are doing something with Thrill Zone
yeah,
because
that's what I
that
figured too.
that area like I looked at in a walkthrough. That one I believe still is mostly asphalt. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yes,
Um,
there's quite a bit of asphalt, mainly away from Fury.
Yeah, no, Fury looks good, but like the air, as soon as like you leave the area outside of it, it's like, oh, there it is.
Yep.
And that maybe that involves getting rid of Hurler.
We're gonna have to act
um,
at some point.
so I mean, hey, we're getting into the mid 2030s.
Yeah.
So like, and at this point, we're like getting further and further away. I feel like we can kind of just do like not go in absolutely insane,
Yep.
but like we can definitely have a little more fun with it. So that's
Yeah.
definitely on the table.
Yeah. I will
Um,
say 2034 to me screams just big park improvement year.
yeah, we can
And
do
there are
that
a couple.
boardwalk pavement. I can throw that in because I think that's if we want to do it that year, that could
Yeah,
be good.
and I do want to divert a little because we've kind of traced a little path from the front of the park, but I want to divert a little bit and look over to the Crossroads section, which used to be a lot bigger, but most of it is now Aeronautical Landing.
Mm,
Which, funny enough, Afterburn is actually still technically Crossroads and not Aeronautical Landing, which is a little strange to me.
yeah,
But
that is.
without it, the Crossroads would literally just be like where Boo Blasters is and a couple stores, and
Ah, shoot, I
it's
forgot
fine. It
that
doesn't
existed.
feel.
Is Boo Blasters in okay shape? Do we need to do something there?
Um, well, I was actually gonna get into that in a sec. They just fixed the guns, and the ride itself is actually pretty good these days.
Okay, that's
Before they
good.
fixed the guns, they were just unusable, but they work now. They completely redid the scoring system, so it's a good scoring system. There are a couple at the end of the ride. There's actually an animatronic that looks pretty solid. But the main thing I want from Boo Blasters, and this would be the biggest thing in 2034, would be to take the queue and completely redo it, make it an indoor, like at least semi immersively themed queue. Um, and this is mainly because I did the one at King's Dominion, and that one has a short indoor section of the queue before the ride, and I thought it just felt right. It looked good. It gave you a little blast of AC before you got on, besides just the station. And then currently, the queue for Carowinds Boo Blasters is just an ugly cattle pen with some fencing around it. So I think it would look
Okay.
really good, and it would just make it easier to route people in for the attraction because a lot of times the line will back up and some people won't filter into the switchbacks and they'll just kind of dump out on the midway a little bit. So
Okay. So, more immersive theming, and then
put it indoors.
indoors. All right.
It's a pretty small portion of queue, which shouldn't be that hard to do, aside from just, you know, turning formerly outdoor space into indoor space. And
All
that's
right.
also another area of the park that has some asphalt that's a little chipped away at. So if they wanted to carry over this this paver project to Crossroads, I think that would be good too.
All right. I'm down for that. And then I'll just do. All right. So we'll do that. And actually, over Texas fan, I think this is a good idea to bring up for probably 35. Honestly, that could be a good year for Carolina Harbor edition, or one of the
Mm,
next few years at least.
yeah.
I think that is a terrific suggestion.
Mm.
Um, so
Yeah, I would say if we want to do like a major water park edition in 2035, I think that feels right. We'll probably want to remove, I imagine we probably do something big. So I think it would be good to remove a slide, an old slide. And that would probably be Hurricane Falls, maybe include um, Storm Surge behind it. But that park kind of needs every slide it can get right now. So I would say only
okay, then
one.
maybe 34 remove just
I'd
because it
say
makes sense to remove.
Hurricane. I'd probably say Hurricane Falls just because it's a long plot and you can do a lot with that. So
Okay. And then we'll determine what exactly that's with, but I'll just throw this here too. Um, okay, so that'll be 2035. That's a very good point. Um, over Texas fan also mentions last time you looked at a POV of Boo Blasters, it just looked sad and broken down. happy that Six Flags is trying to fix it and rebuild it. Unlike the Carolina Panthers, that
Oof.
the Panthers are trying, and I say this as someone who has no reason to give them any sort of
Won the
kind
division.
words as a Falcons fan. So yeah, but they're trying.
Yeah,
Uh,
consistent play from Bryce Young, and maybe
yeah.
they'll maybe they'll start truly looking up, other than just squeezing out a cheap division win.
Exactly. But let's see. Thinking of replacing it with that water slide that Soaky Mountain recently got. Uh, would not know what that is off the top of my head, but I'll look it up real
They
quick.
got some great looking slides. I don't know exactly which one they're talking about, but I'm sure it's gonna be something.
Probably whatever the newest one is. Okay, Rafters Rage, which was 2025. Um,
Look that up.
I think it's a Whitewater West, so that probably means it's a Whitewater West, so automatically passes that
Oh
test.
yeah, that'd make a lot of sense, replacing the old family raft slide with a really flashy family family raft
This
slide.
is like one of the first things that comes up on the Whitewater West site too, this
Mhm.
model, I'm pretty sure. Let me
I think that'd be great.
check the site. That actually is a great call out. Um, and yeah, I see that model. It's literally the first thing that shows up on the page. It's called the
Mhm.
Wall Runner.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
awesome.
yeah, let's do it. That looks great. Great suggestion, over Texas fan. We will happily do that. So, Whitewater West, and it was called a Wall Runner. Actually, yeah, and the ones they have the pictures for is of specifically the Soaky Mountain one,
Mhm.
funnily enough. So, yeah, that's perfect. Um,
While we're still in Carolina Harbor, you can keep typing whatever you need to type, but I would like to see they do have a couple dining options in Carolina Harbor. The biggest one is I think it's called like I gotta have to look it up. But seating is a little bit sparse just because that's where a lot of people tend to go and eat, because it is the biggest and best dining option in Carolina Harbor. I'd like to see a little more available seating, specifically covered seating. They have a couple little sheds outside with some tables, but I've also, even on semi quiet days, I've found it hard to find seating sometimes. So
okay,
find it. So
so
here we go.
more seating
Yeah.
and covered.
Yeah. Maybe even indoor seating. It's called, okay, I'm blind. I passed it. Harbor House.
Yeah, I have it listed here. That's the
Gotcha.
outdoor restaurant. So yeah, because I'm looking at their other ones that I put down. Most of them are just like kind of like stands
Yeah. There's like a
or
walk
like
up window with
bars.
chicken
Yeah,
tenders and burgers, but that one's fine
yeah,
as is.
that is the signature one. And for seating specifically around that restaurant or just in general.
Around the restaurant, but now that you bring it up, I would like to see more seats just for people, lounge chairs for people to set their towels on and everything. So,
Okay, so I will just do this and I'll plug this over onto the other one so I can be more
because you really only get
specific.
it, I guess it's really only that necessary around the wave pools, but there's not really much of an option for people to sit away from the wave pools. So, even if it's just benches, those may get really hot in the summer, but
All right, so
yeah,
we'll
that's
do
good.
that. And then, all right, so that's 2035. Last 2 years left. Okay, so 2036. Um, at this point, we can, I guess, either elect to I mean, so we did a Hurricane Harbor edition. We are now, um, if you don't count the 2033 season, 1, 2, 3 years out from the last major coaster. So we could either do it this year or well, the thrill actually, yeah, no, these 2 years are probably going to be related to Thrill Zone unless we want to
Wilson.
do something else.
Yeah.
So
I think we're
yeah,
both kind of on the same wavelength, and I think it will come with Hurler's demise.
okay. Do we
Um,
want to close it in 35 or 36?
I think that entirely depends on whether or not it would either be a reimagined, like basically
Oh,
RMC kind of
RMC.
Hurler, or if we just want to knock it down, I feel like they would probably want to remove, like for a 20, if we're targeting a 2037 opening, then I would say they could hold out on Hurler till 2036 if they want to RMC or something like RMCing it. If they're going to
Mm-hmm.
knock it down, I think it should probably be knocked down at the end of 2035. So
Okay. So,
we'll kind of need
sh-
to work backwards a little bit and
yeah.
decide what we want to replace Hurler first, and then figure out what we want to do from there.
Okay. So, that's fair. I mean, and also we can once we finish this, we can also kind of go back and see if we want to add or
Yes. Yeah.
swap things around because that definitely could make sense. I was gonna ask the chat, but we what your chat like your thoughts are on do you think our hurler should be RMC'd or we should just get rid of it entirely? I'm gonna be honest, I kind of would be more on the lines of getting rid of it, but I also do like the idea of RMC'ing it, so it's kind of
Yeah, I just don't really know where their head's at because we know from the Canada's Wonderland survey that they're willing to do an Iron Horse conversion.
mm-hmm.
But then you ask yourself, like, I mean, they keep retracking Hurler all the time. They just did a little bit more this year, but none of it's super drastic. Like,
Yeah.
they're not doing like a big old gravity group prefab, beast or grizzly kind of refurb. They haven't put Titan track on it. So it seems like they're just kind of, trying to extend its life as long as they can until they're ready to get rid of it and just not let it get stupidly rough. So
Okay.
I think the door's
Yeah.
open for a late conversion, but I also don't know if they're ever going to. So
The funny, yeah, the crazy thing with this too is the timeline of it. I the fact like Twisted Timbers existing doesn't really is not something I'm really considering as far as
yeah,
affecting my decision making. I don't really think it matters very much for Carowinds, but it is kind of funny that if we were to do that, it would be almost 20 years afterwards.
yeah,
It's more like a footnote thing than anything else,
yeah.
but like it's kind of funny. Um, but uh,
This is a tough one.
it is difficult, and also this is also the point where it's like we're probably at this point dealing with coaster models that are options that don't
Mhm.
exist currently,
Yep.
which I but that we got to work with what we currently have, so
Yeah.
it's kind of difficult.
I will say
Um,
in terms of scale, I'm not sure they'd want to do something just enormous, like an enormous
mm-hmm.
coaster next to Fury, because I can't imagine they'll ever build a coaster
Mm,
taller than Fury unless it's just something way off the wall.
yeah.
Um, I'd even hesitate to say that they would ever look to go like hypercoaster scale. If they were to RMC Hurler, I would expect it to be a little more along the lines of what they did with like Wildcat's Revenge, where they build a truss lift, but it's not super tall.
Okay.
Um, I don't think they would just take Twisted Timbers and change some elements and call it a day. I think they would look to make it a little different if they do RMC it. And RMC designs will have changed so much from the Shilky designs anyway that I don't think they'd be looking to do just Twisted Timbers 2.0. I think it would be a little bit larger, a little more spaced out, less in terms of just shoving hills into the layout. So that's of
Yeah.
course assuming they RMC any of this. So
I'm gonna go back through the survey options, although at this point, like so far down the line, it's like I don't know how useful they're going to be. But let's see. So, Carowinds, as far as the options they have that they have had on the surveys, um, let's see. Uh, Probably wouldn't do a family launch, and we already.
Unless they just wanted, I guess it is Thrill Zone, but it doesn't have to stay Thrill Zone.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised that whenever they get to this, they just kind of
Yeah,
do away with that.
like they could do just about anything.
So that is an option,
Mhm.
certainly.
I
I'm
picture like
enthusiast
Werewolf
would not
Forge over
be
there. If they
in
wanted to have a cohesively themed area, a big old Vekoma family launch would be sick there,
that
and
would
take it
be.
onto the drop tower plot.
Yeah, no, that could be something. I think that'd be a great addition, um, personally, and I think for the park as well, that'd be a big hit.
Mhm.
Enthusiasts would not be pleased with two back-to-back family coaster editions, but
I mean, they're good family
yeah,
coasters, and
I mean, exactly. And it's kind of like you already have your headliners, so it's kind of like you're just kind of building
mhm.
uh, different attractions around that. And we already added in a Vekoma tilt, so like
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, and the
um,
ride you remove kind of dictates the scale of the ride that you should replace it with. If you're closing Hurler, which has a high requirement of 48, and you were going to build like say stick Velocicoaster there that has a 51, 52, I think it's 51-inch high requirement. You don't want to build something that all of a sudden shuts your shorter guests out from riding a major attraction. So
to be fair, my argument against that is we solved that I mean, we did shrink the height requirement of Vortex's replacement, so
that's
that's
true.
the
We're
only thing I would
catering.
mention
Yeah.
this to that. But um, let's see. So going back to the survey options, yeah. So they have the family thrill launch. B&M dive would not really make sense at this
Nah,
point.
not worth a foot.
Um, I mean, other parks would say otherwise, but that would be like doing it backwards. But I'm gonna say we're not gonna do that. Um, might be a little biased there, but premiere launch or a launch coaster they showed, like I think Alpenfury in one of their surveys once. I'll mention that was something they showed. A B&M
That'd be
wing they've
cool.
previously showed.
Hmm.
So
We know
those,
the vest can handle 48 inches now.
yeah, yep. That, and if you're worried about that, that is a good point. Um, I I know people would probably want a modern wooden coaster. I've said it before. I mean it would be modern, but I just don't really believe in the replace the ride with something that's very similar to it directly. I
And
just
honestly, I think if we were ever going to get a wooden coaster, like a modern, think I think it would have gone where Rip Roaring Falls is going. Because people have talked about shoving one between, like next to Afterburn, where Dinosaurs Alive used to be, and just that'd be shoved pretty closely between Afterburn and then Thunderstriker's not too far away. Um, I just don't see it. They store a lot of stuff back there. If you look over the rails in the
mm,
Afterburn view, you can see like old Scarowin stuff, Pumpkin Patch stuff that I would imagine they still use for in Camp Snoopy. I don't know. I haven't looked over there in a while, but there is a lot just lying back there. So
just shifted
I don't
towards
think they're looking to use that plot.
just shifted towards like some parking lot space. I'm kidding. I know that stuff. Yeah, that like the storage is going to be important. So I that's a good shout out there as far as not using that land. Um, let's see, but yeah, so let's see. So we have RMC Hurler, family launch, uh, premiere launch, and that honestly you could probably throw like whatever manufacturer launch coaster honestly in there. Like we could you could probably like a Vekoma Ghost Rider or something like that's
Mhm.
probably like in the same vein. So
Yeah.
uh, any of those might make sense. A wing glider, or not, sorry, a wing coaster.
Yep.
Uh,
A
I,
wing
I
would make quite a bit of sense
I
for
will
the
throw out the thrill glider again. Just just
Good old
to
Chris. Good Chris.
keep mentioning it, and only like watch it, and there's only like 5 ever built or something or less.
Well, one of them might
Um,
be at Warner Brothers World now. So
I think that's going to
assuming
be an
that's not like
actual
a fly.
flyer. I think it's going to be a flyer because they said face down. Granted, you can take that however you may, but I
Yeah.
that to me tells me, and
Mhm.
also it'd be. I mean, considering it's a Superman coaster, I feel like it'd be really weird if they didn't just if you were already going like
Yeah.
the flying route. Why would you do a throw glider? But if they do it, I wouldn't be mad. So,
Yeah, I have like no
um,
concept of how much space they have to work with inside. I imagine this would be inside, but they could build it outside. I know most major coasters over there are built outdoors, but if they're trying to put it indoors, I just have no
yeah,
concept of the kind of space that they have to work with.
I think there's a Superman attraction there already that I think is a
Mm.
simulator of some sort that they would be getting rid of.
That's
I
an
have,
easy,
n-
yeah, a simulator is an easy axe. So,
um, I think it had been having issues, and it just,
mm.
I think
Okay,
it's, I've,
that makes
but
sense.
a 300-foot 40 coaster, no, we're not doing that. We're not trying to bankrupt ourselves and get
Oof.
fired. um, um, but as fun as that idea would be, if anyone ever builds a 4D coaster, it won't happen. It's like at least unless there's like a massively changed one, but
Mm.
something like another Edge and Ike or Dynaconda, I refuse to believe anyone's ever gonna build one.
Yeah.
But as much as I'd love to see it, but um, we're
I
just
think,
talking in circles as far as like all the
yeah.
just different things getting thrown out there. But
Mhm. The main thing that I just considered, Hurler doesn't have any inversions, and removing Hurler wouldn't really give the non-inversion crowd much to do in terms of coasters outside of our spinner, and then just stuff that's already there and getting older. So I think a family launch, like a family thrill launch coaster, the more I think about it, makes a lot of sense for that plot because that's going to be a sprawling ride anyway. So why not take advantage of the biggest plot that you have?
you also know it's gonna be a huge hit.
Yes.
Like, I think people underestimate when like these parks are announcing them. It's like they're gonna. I mean, I know Big Bear Mountain is like massively popular at Dollywood and was, from
Mm.
my understanding, a big success there. I imagine Werewolf Gorge will be the most popular ride at the park
Yeah.
at Fiesta Texas
And if
once
they
it
really want
opens.
to, I just thought of
So,
this. Hurler's right next to Jukebox Diner. They
mm.
could maybe give it like a 50s car theme. I know we already have Thunderstriker, and that's kind of hot roddy. Copperhead, you're riding in a car themed vehicle, but just something fun that is worth spitballing just because I thought of it just now.
I think it could work, especially like Thunder Striker. They're never gonna be able to make it so there's on ride theming with it. That's gonna be that
Mm.
immersive. A
Yeah.
Vekoma family launch, you can definitely do that with. So
Yes.
I think that would be worthwhile, even if it's like it has somewhat of a similarity. I don't think
Mm.
it matters that much. I
Yeah.
think yeah, the 50s car theme and having some objects surrounding the ride and
Be like
theming.
Lightning Rod Jr.
Yeah. So, um, I think that could definitely work. So you've convinced me. I am very curious when I post this on Instagram what the replies are gonna be. Dude, the over Texas one. It was actually like crazy. Well, that
Mm.
one people were just mad that we got rid of Shockwave.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like hearing from people just different thoughts and
Yeah, for sure.
ideas because it makes me like kind of reconsider it and just and also think about different things. But
Mm.
I'm kind of convinced. I think that yeah, the Vekoma family launch would be great.
Yeah.
And having that next to Fury too, or like right there. Oh
Mhm.
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, um, and my God, I've never ridden Hurler. I know there's people who enjoy it, but this would be a just substantial
Yeah, I mean, it's riding okay. Whenever they
upgrade.
retrack it, it rides pretty smooth, but it is just such a bore. It's such a snooze fest. So it's time for something new.
All
They just
right.
happen to pull 500,000 riders a year, and there's no reason to remove it yet. So
So I think so. These are we gonna do like so is the family launch? Are we thinking 2037 or 36? Actually, probably 37 because
yeah, yeah. And because
although
of that, I think Hurdler would have to come down in 2035.
yeah. So hurler
This would
closes.
have to be a retheme of Thrill Zone because it's not going to be full of thrill rides anymore. I guess they have Kaleidoscope, and that's the new Scrambler or the rethemed Scrambler.
We're just
And
kind of stretching it to be honest
yeah,
already. So okay. Is there anything else we want to do since it's a full-on overhaul?
I'm trying to think because they could easily use the drop tower plot for a new major flat and just stick
y-
it there. We don't have to use the drop tower plot for the family launch because the hurdler plot's plenty big. I think that'd make more sense. Just
Actually, yeah, and that way
going out.
we cover. We have both. We have like. I think that would actually be good.
Yeah.
Um, and at this point, hey, it's been long enough time. If we want to just get a new drop tower, I don't think anyone's complaining at this point.
Yeah.
So, um, I'm not saying we have to do that. We can do a different flat. Maybe
Mhm.
the Giga Discovery finally comes into the fold. Um,
And that would help him get the drop tower was always just a little far from the midway. It was very easy to see because it was tall, but doing the Giga Discovery could get the ride to, make more of an impact on the midway and probably draw more people over there as a result from afar. So
okay. So
I like both ideas. I'm down for either one. Whichever one you feel like the park needs more, I guess.
the problem is you just don't see that many parks adding drop towers nowadays.
Yeah, and I don't
At least in
know.
the U.S. because and as far as like top manufacturers, like as far as working with, I know Intamin still makes some. I know like this manufacturer and attaching it to drop tower just given the accident that happened a few years ago in Orlando. I know like people have thoughts on like fun time
Mm,
drop towers, but at
yep,
least as far as overseas, those are still selling.
yep. And they are
Um,
good towers. I really like the one at Dollywood.
yeah, so they are, I think, at this point, one of the top manufacturers for drop towers because I
Mhm.
mean, I know of some that have been built in the last few years in Europe. So, um, and then SNS as well. Well, actually, they don't really. I guess they did. They did manufacture the one for Kidia, but that's kind of an outlier project.
Yeah.
So I think probably we're deciding between a fun time drop tower and a discovery.
Mhm.
Man, I think I just especially we are. I mean, there are definitely enough rides, but man, I just want a drop tower, and it's been so
Yeah.
long. We can
And I
get
mean,
like
Discovery,
nostalgia too.
yeah,
At
and I
this
mean the Discovery
point,
would be a good fit, but it would do I mean, if we were to add the Scream and Swing, it would do a very I mean, it's very similar in what it does to a Scream and Swing. And I guess that just go back to whether or not they choose to add a Scream and Swing or a Discovery. Either one would fill the same gap.
okay, so
So I think a drop tower makes sense. Just a
yeah,
whatever's offered 10 years from now, whatever makes sense.
so I think the model is officially. Let me look it up.
I actually think it's
Um,
called the Skyfall,
yeah,
if I'm
it's
not
called a
mistaken.
Skyfall. So I'm a do that.
Yes.
So are we saying so 2036 is like well that can be the drop tower, and then we're teasing the new family um, launch coaster. So and I'll put drop tower so people know what it is. Um,
And this would be a great year. I mean, just one of the years, I guess, over the course of both, as they open rides, scrape up all the asphalt. Once again, there's so much asphalt around the park. I forgot
Okay.
how much asphalt is around the park. Not all of it looks bad, but some of it's in worse shape than other areas. And it's definitely in the roughest shape and the oldest parts of Thrill Zone, to my recollection. So,
All right. So yeah, no, I because I was watching it and I'm like, yeah, this kind of looks. Some of the
yeah.
sections look rough. Like, okay, we
Mhm.
need to. There because there's other like there's other priorities as far as like I mean, Thunder Road, just because you have Nighthawk, like that plot's just chilling.
Yep.
You also have Ripcord there, which is just like, all right, that can just be taken out. Um, it's also it also kind of doing these kinds of the plans also kind of gives you like some perspective in a way of like, oh, it really isn't that easy to just kind of like fix all these things that are like these issues.
Mhm.
It's kind of like, oh yeah, we have to figure out this and like you can't
Mhm.
just do it all in one go. So
Yep. Well, it's nice the way we broke this down. Just updating the park in phases makes it easy to break those projects into chunks.
yeah, I know in reality there's a lot more chaos that unfolds. So like, like even if you were to make a plan like this, trying to fully implement it by the time you actually are at the point where you can, things will have changed. So I
Mhm.
know that, but still a fun exercise regardless. I will just updating these here, and we can also add a few other items if need be. I just want to update this slide here. So
Trying to think if there's anything that I'd wanted to include that would be
okay,
good.
so I will put this in full screen. As of right now, this is our 10-year plan. Wow, actually in chat we have um, Kay and Pritchard both have Shockwave as their first coaster of inversions. So shout out.
Oh,
Um, uh, actually, during the Q&A, I will have something to say on kind of there was some discussion with the JB Thrills, the new video he released recently, on the potential future of Shockwave, and I have some thoughts
cool.
um, as far as but I'll just tease it. We'll get there when we get there. But
Alrighty.
anyways, back to this. So we can make any changes we want. Also, you in chat, let us know what you think of the plan and if there's anything we want to change. But just going through it year by year. 2028. Well, the year before we're gonna, which would be next year, we're gonna close Ripcord, and 2028 will be the beginning of our Thunder Road overhaul, which will include the new addition of an SNS Screamin' Swing. We're also going to incorporate the storyline theming for Thunder Striker, and actually, if I could go to the here where there's a little more stuff going on there, just so I'm not missing out on some of the details, but we're going to incorporate more of the storyline theming, and also implement just kind of general menu overhauls, and dining overhauls to the park, just to get it back up to standard. 2029 continued overhaul of Thunder Road. You got the Vekoma Tilt that will be taking over Nighthawk's former plot of land, and we will also be replacing Panda Express with an in-theme sandwich shop. 2030, you got Carolina Harbor, which will be adding the relocated Six Flags America Whitewater West Master Blaster. We're also going to do a small project in repaving the area by the plant walkthrough. Probably a weird way to word it, but the
You're fine.
section where you have the structure of the plants that's
If you
shady.
want to label it, just like for clarity, it's between just International Street, just like the front of the park. It leads into Carousel Park. So,
Okay.
and
Um,
while we're going by this area, the bathrooms next to that plant walkthrough are by far the worst in the park. So, if we want to just overhaul that bathroom and mark that down,
yeah, we can
that'd
do
be
that.
fun to
So
include.
And
Yeah.
uh, and by where are they at?
It's actually right next, about halfway through that little plant tunnel. There's a tunnel, an opening off to the side, and there's just bathrooms.
Okay.
And they don't have to be
Actually,
fully rebuilt, but just a renovation. They're pretty nasty.
okay. I'll do renovation. That way it
Mm.
is a little more
You can
like
just
we're
put like
not.
bathroom. There are a couple bathrooms in the park that could really use it. If you just want to put bathroom renovations,
Okay. Renovate bathrooms that need it.
because I forgot, there's some over by Gold Rusher. Those are pretty nasty too.
All
But like
right.
the bathrooms that they've touched recently, like the Aeronautica landing bathrooms look really good. They look great. The ones at the front are solid. The ones by Fury are solid. So
Okay.
just getting them up to that level.
Gotcha. Okay. So trying to see how I can fit it in here. Um, let's see. And then okay, so we have that. Okay, so going back to here. Um, so we have that for 2030, 2031. We're going to be connecting Thrill Zone, specifically the plot near Ferry 325 to Carousel Park via Rip Roaring Falls with a new path. Said path will have this new Skillet restaurant, which will be one of the new signature restaurants for Carowinds. We are also going to close Slingshot and Vortex in preparation for. And I forgot to put in the uh, Carousel Park overhaul part 1 here. For our Carousel Park overhaul, which will be taking place over the course of 2 years, which will actually, this is not related to that, so that can stay. So the as the first part of the Carousel Park overhaul, we'll have a new signature show at the Carowinds Theater that'll be utilizing the park's old characters. In addition, as a separate project, we will be having a parking lot overhaul that will include some rerouting along with repavement, which will lead into 2033, which is the 60th anniversary. That'll be involve the completion of the Carousel Park overhaul with the Mock Family Spinner. I feel like maybe there should be something additional there because it's the 60th,
Let me
but
think. Oh, they could do like a nighttime spectacular, like a fireworks show.
all
Because they
right,
had one for
let's
the
do that.
50th, but it didn't last more than a couple months. So they could either do one that's just for the 60th, or they could start one that's permanent. I know Kings Island still does their
Yeah, they
spectacular.
still does there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's something that just should be at Carowinds. So
I love that. So I will do that. So we'll plug that over to the full plan. And that is 2033. So, all right. So we got that. So that I think that'll make for a big year. 2034 is going to be just some projects as far as repaving the asphalt in the boardwalk section and some crossroads updates, overhauling the Boo Blasters queue with more immersive theming and it being indoors. Did we have pavement there too, actually? I think I forgot to add that.
yeah, just
Or
around
was it something
Crossroads.
else?
There's some
Okay.
asphalt in Crossroads. Some of it's a little cracked, but it's not too bad.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll do that. 2035. We got Carolina Harbor editions with the new Whitewater West Wall Runner. That, if you don't know what that is, reference the new slide, which I think is literally called Wall Runner at Soki Mountain Water Park in Tennessee. It also shows up on the Whitewater West website, so like immediately. So like
Yep, it's
that's what
just
it is.
called.
But
Oh, it's called Raptors Rage.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, no, you're right. Because I was just looking at it on the site and it like kind
You're
of
good.
listed it at the top. But
That's what
that's
popped up first on Google for what it's worth.
yeah, right, yeah. So um, that's the attraction, which is a uh, large new raft slide that looks pretty cool. Um, and then also more seating that's covered near the harbor house and in general. So that's what we have for Carolina Harbor. Let me make sure that I had everything actually because I feel like I may have. Oh yeah, Hurler closes. Let's add that to this. Um, so
RMC
and then
Hurler
yeah,
fans are not gonna be happy with this one.
yeah, and the like five out there. I'm sure there's more people that actually like it, but I haven't heard a ton of praise. 2036 will be the beginning of the long overdue Thrill Zone overhaul slash retheme. So it'll be made into new area, and actually, I probably should emphasize that as a point. But before I do that, we will be adding a Funtime Skyfall, which is their drop tower model, as part of this overhaul, and then also repave the asphalt in that area, which it desperately needs. Um, and then we will also be doing in 2037 the second part, which will cap off the entire 10-year plan with a 50s themed Vekoma family launch coaster, which will at that point probably be the largest investment in the park's history because God knows how much the price is going to have been inflated at that point. So, but it'll probably also be the most popular ride in the park. So, um, will be well worth. So, um,
Quite sure
maybe
what
new.
to do for like an overarching theme because I can't imagine they would touch Fury.
That's true. That one might
Which
just kind of.
kind of fits, and I don't really know why I feel like Fury would kind of fit that, but
Actually kind of does. If you have a lot of like neon too,
mm,
like kind of yeah. Nah, I think Fury wouldn't even stick out. I think that could actually work.
yeah, you could do like just emphasize retro slash neon. Yeah,
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah, that's
Let's
cool.
go. And then yeah, that fits in with the diner. So we just use that as like the basis for the entire
Who would
themed
have
area.
thought
But I
that?
think that works. Hey, I
Half
mean,
the legacy Cedar Fairs just have like a coasters drive-in or a jukebox, and we're working around it.
yeah.
It's
But I
kind of
think
fun.
that'd be cool though. I feel like it would have a cool vibe and you could
Mhm.
deck out all the rides and everything. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, no, that'd be sick.
and Kaleidoscope
Um
benefits that too. I mean, it's not
yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, you're right. Oh man, this is coming together. So, okay. I love it when these plans start doing that. We kind of had that moment in the last stream too, where we rethemed the Gotham area to DC Universe, and we realized, wait, it actually makes sense because we got rid of Justice League, and
mm,
then we rethemed Aquaman. So now there's outside of Superman, there was no other DC themed rides in the park
gotcha.
that were
That's
outside the area. So you're like, hey, it works.
works out
So
beautifully.
yeah, but so this is our version of that. Um, but yeah, I think that's going
Yeah,
to
it's solid.
wrap it up unless you have anything else you want to add. So,
Nothing off the top of my head. I'm just gonna try to run through the park in my head real quick, but most of it's just doozy pipe dreams. Like if I think Kitty Hawk would be fine if they retracked it and gave it new trains, but they're never gonna do that. So it's just gonna sit as is. Um, maybe I mean we didn't touch Camp Snoopy at all.
oh my God, you're right. That actually is
Yeah.
mm,
Maybe on one of the quieter years we could look to just add like a small ride package, add replace some
yeah.
older rides, put in some new ones. I'm not really sure when that would be.
Okay, so let's look at this because no,
Yeah.
you're right. That's actually a pretty big miss. That definitely should be incorporated somewhere. And we do have some years too that like because we kind of between Carolina Harbor and Carousel Park is probably what makes the most sense.
Mm.
Although also
Maybe,
2034 could be it too.
yeah,
So I think one of those either.
yeah. It's tough because now with the most recent Camp Snoopy expansion, it feels really complete.
Mm,
I just think that they're not going to let it sit for that long. And I do have a couple tiny minor things that I would like to see, mainly when it comes to in-ride theming, like in-lot theming for Snoopy's Racing Railway.
okay.
And I may, because that has tire-driven launches, and I know that rides with tire lifts don't do well in rain, but I forget whether or not that ride can operate in the rain because the launch is tire-driven. That may not matter. But Canada's Wonderland has it where there's a little roof over the first launch. The second launch is fully enclosed, so that wouldn't matter. But if rain would affect the ride from being able to operate because the launches are tire driven, they probably want to build the same kind of little roof over the first launch if they can fit it. So
Okay. That's a good shout out. It's just what year do we throw that in?
yeah,
I feel like, and I can shift some things around too because I think it probably makes sense with
probably
I,
2032.
either
I mean,
32 or
doing a parking
34.
lot
I
would not be
think.
cheap.
Actually, wait, but 34. Well, okay, we are, but Crossroads is on the left side of the park, which is also kind of near Camp Snoopy. So I feel like you could do it that year.
Hmm.
Just because it's like you're already dealing with Crossroads, like I said, on the left side of the park. I know Boardwalk's on the right, but well, unless I'm wrong, because I tried to memorize the map, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's laid out.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah. Crossroads goes straight into Camp Snoopy. So
okay, so I think 34, 32 also, but I feel like we're the new show parking lot overhaul. I feel like that's well, I mean, I know the lot is not really something you can advertise, but like
hmm.
that's still notable.
It's a significant financial investment. So
Whereas these, it's like okay, we're repaving asphalt, which I mean, yeah, I know it's not cheap, but these are like kind of smaller sections. I feel
yeah,
like,
34 feels
um,
right.
yeah. Um,
You can just put
so
Camp Snoopy updates. We don't have to get too specific. Just like replace old rides and
for this, I'll just make it easy, but we can add more to the
yeah,
smaller one if need be because I actually like the idea of the roof, so I can add it to this one since we have the space for it. So let's see. Can't Snoopy updates. Is there I did not research kitty rides well enough to probably
I just
have
say
suggestions there.
replace old rides. That would be very easy to do over the course of an off season. So
Okay.
and there are
So
some older rides, but they're perfectly serviceable. So whatever they feel like they need to remove.
I'll look it up or I'll look at it just as because I had a list of
Mhm.
those like rides that were like potentially removable and I did have some Camp Snoopy rides. Oh, they're in here. Let's see. Okay, so Charlie Brown's Wind Up, which is a 1973's Imperial Junior Wave Swinger,
Yeah, that's
and
very, very small. It's right next actually to Snoopy's Racing Railway.
okay, and then
And
Snoopy
only
versus Red Baron is also 1973.
yeah.
So, and that's a Junior Jets. So probably those two.
Mm,
Although they are park originals, if
yeah.
that matters, but they're
And I
also
can't
kiddie
imagine they're
rides.
very high maintenance at this point. So
Yeah, because I actually don't. I think those are the only rides I had listed because those are like whoa, they're way older, but they are also originals. So
yeah. You could just put like replace old rides and then like a little
yeah,
question mark in parentheses, just because we don't really know what they think of those rides. I mean, I don't really see a reason to remove them except for their age. So there may be issues with another ride that we're not thinking of.
That's true. Is it railway with an S, or is it
Railway,
just,
yeah. You
or
got
just? Okay, I got it. So,
yeah,
and then is
first
there
off.
anything else for
And
Camp
then just a
Snoopy?
little there are a couple little areas that could use, I mean, there are trees on the perimeter of the ride plot that just need to grow in, but I think
Okay.
there's a bit of open space that could use just like, a little camp shack here, a little something fun over there, just little theming enhancements.
All right. Sounds good. I think that probably wraps it up. Um,
Yeah.
I'll probably replace old kitty rides onto the larger one because those are new rides, so
Mhm.
that feels notable
Did we
enough to
want
throw
to
in
think
there.
about any repaints potentially?
Um, and then it shrunk the thing. I'll deal with that in a second. Let's see. So, we could.
Yep.
Let's
So there's
see.
two came to mind when I thought about it. The one that needs it the most is Afterburn. Not only the track, but also the station walls.
Okay.
The paint's been chipping for a while, so and we can just shove that in somewhere. That feels like a good 2031 thing to do because that's a general park improvement year anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So we can do that. Actually, I will look at when it has an anniversary year. So, oh wait, it opened in '99, right?
Yes. Yep.
Just in case, I'm not saying we have to.
If
Yeah, no, we'll just push it to 31.
Yeah,
Um,
they did Vortex for 25, I think. They repainted Nighthawk a few years before it closed. I think that was 21. So those weren't anniversary years either.
yeah,
So,
so we'll just do Afterburn. Actually, I'll do it above the closures, but this one I probably won't include on the. I'll only include on this one
yeah,
because that's like purely
very
cosmetics.
minor. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I think it's
The
good
other
that
one I thought
this.
of, and this is mainly just because we would be targeting that area of the park, and it's going to be over 20 years old by the time we get over there. Fury isn't quite as
Mm,
vibrant as it used to be, and in 10 years, it's probably going to need a repaint of its own. So.
okay. So yeah, that can definitely be a part of when we do that.
Yeah, that's
So
probably a 2037 thing.
yeah, because that way we can when it has the when we have the big coast the new edition, it'll be like also like looking great. All right, I think that looks good.
Mhm. Can't
Um,
think of anything else that needs big attention. So,
Alrighty, well, I'll leave it up here for a little bit just for everyone to see, but this is the final plan. You can refer back to the other ones as well to uh, see everything that we had. I'll just go over to those real quick. So, if you're watching this after the fact, you can pause during these as well to get a better view. I actually also have a link to the slides in the description. I failed to mention that earlier. That is my bad because I actually have slides behind this one that have more information on the individual lands that I didn't really feel the need to go through in the stream. But all that information is there in the link in the description. So make sure to check that out as well. And I will post this one on Instagram. Might make some tweaks to it as well to um, where I need just to make it a little more readable. But there we have it. So a little over 2 hours with the plan, about the same as the last one. So good on time there. I just realized I never changed the ticker to the plan, so we just had intro the entire time. We had a 2 hour intro.
oh boy,
Um,
now the real fun begins. But
but no, that'll lead to our final Q&A and buy or sell. Also, any thoughts on the plan, share those as well.
did you
Um,
want to talk about what you thought of Shockwave
I
before?
will. I will get to that. The only other thing I want to mention is, along with any questions that come in, I did bring this up on Instagram, and those of you who answered, I got a lot of responses. Actually, heck, that's why this stream happened in part. But with the 10-year plans, I've enjoyed doing them a lot. There's been a lot of great engagement, both here in the chat and then afterwards here on YouTube and on Instagram and other platforms. So I want to continue to do more of these. If you have any ideas for parks that I could do in the future, and then potentially content creators that I could team up with to do a future park plan, if you want to suggest those in the chat, go right ahead as well. So we'll mention that. But with that being said, let's get to the questions. And we do have Kay mentioning that Shockwave was kind of janky even back in the early 2010s. By chance, have you actually gotten to write it or not yet?
I got to write it in 2023.
Okay.
And
hey, same year.
I mean, it is jank. It's more jank than what you'd expect from like most other Schwarzkopfs. I find ride smoother than Shockwave, but I think it's just by Shockwave's nature. It's such a crazy forceful ride, with the drops being as jarring as they are, and the loops are just crazy forceful as well. So
It definitely does have that jank to it. I don't think it's bad. And actually, the one thing I'll say that maybe I didn't do a good job of explaining earlier is I just more so have opinions on what the future of Shockwave should be versus my actual thoughts on the ride. I love Shockwave. It's in
yeah,
my
it's a
top
good ride.
60 of over 200 coasters. I have it ranked above New Texas Giant.
I mean,
And
that's not too uncommon.
yeah, I mean, it's my second favorite coaster there. So, um, I love it, but as far as like its future, I know it's difficult to replace it because of the floodplain. Just because
I
it's been brought up, when it eventually becomes time, is it better to renovate it versus replacing it outright? I just think it's going to be a lot better of an option to replace it outright, because
Yeah.
I never rode Mindbender before the refurb, but I rode it after in Riddler Mindbender at
Mm.
over at Georgia. I can speak from that. You do not want Shockwave to become that. Like I just and
Yeah,
then
yeah, you're right.
and look at what they're doing with the other Schwarzkopf in the chain at Knott's.
Oh my,
Um,
yeah.
and I bring that up. Actually, this is what I really wanted to talk about with Shockwave, because I know a lot of people have sentimental value towards that. Montezuma is the coaster that made me a coaster enthusiast. It's the one that broke all my fears. It was the first one that I ever rode that I had that had an inversion. So I have a very personal attachment to the ride. And granted, I haven't ridden it, and maybe it'll be better than I think, but looking at what they're doing, I can honestly say I would have rather them just removed it and added something else rather than what they're doing to it. So that's just kind of my, I guess, word of caution for those wanting Shockwave to be renovated. You may find out, if they ended up going that route, that you were better off not doing that.
No,
So
I get that. I get that.
that's my word of caution in relation to Shockwave. I think ultimately, whenever it becomes time, though, they'll probably actually remove it. But
Yeah.
it also depends. There's factors we don't know. Like maybe it really is like next to impossible to add anything else there, and it's kind of like, well, you have no choice at that point. But it'll be an interesting one to monitor its long-term future. I'm not saying anything imminent is happening with it right now. I don't believe it is. I know it's been closed for a few months. I wouldn't hit the panic button on that, but um, just with some conversation going on and with it being discussed during the stream, I to send the idea of a renovation. So, um, shout out to your Fury poster in
Oh
the
yeah.
background.
This was actually my brother's first, and now I just have it in my room. But
Nice.
I really like it. I'm glad it's in my room now.
Yeah, no, that is pretty good. And then I see you have the channel logo, I think, on your
Yeah,
door.
that was actually a gift. My girlfriend got it custom made for me.
Sweet.
and she got it specifically for streams like this. So I don't have like a studio setting, so I haven't mounted it to a wall or anything. And I mean, the wall that I have, the space for something like that is taken up by a big Fury poster, but I found a nice little place for it for tonight. So
That's good. No, love to see it. And that's a really nice gift.
yeah.
I need to decorate my room. Like there's been discussions about it, but
Mhm.
hasn't quite happened. But I do have the probably not super easy to see, but I do have the Wicked
Yeah, I
Twister
noticed
track
that.
piece chilling there.
Mhm.
And then I have a even harder to see. I have a uh, old Magic Mountain pin that was like from I think before it was before it was named Six Flags that has Revolution on it that I
Oh,
found at a local antique store, funnily
that's
enough,
cool.
for
Closest
like
thing I have to that
$4.
is this little Fury coin. Back when they
Ah,
did the fun
okay.
boxes, I bought one of the fun boxes, and they had some fun little merch in there that I haven't seen at any other point. So
Nah, that's a cool one. I'll actually bring the Magic Mountain one because I don't think I've showed it. But yeah, this is what it looks like.
oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
That
there we
is really
go.
cool.
It was like $4 at the antique store, so I'm like,
Dang.
yeah, I don't collect pins, but I'm like, I'll take it. Why not? So,
Yeah. I've wanted to go around just locally, seeing what kind of vintage merch I could possibly find just around the area, the Charlotte area. So maybe I'll do
yeah,
that at some point.
they had a few items. They had some like old like flags of like I know there was like some old Disney ones. There's a CJ one that I also have that's out of reach. That also is not up.
Mhm.
Oh wait, actually, oh never mind. I think it's in a different spot than I remembered. I just realized I saw it. It's a Paramount. So it's probably too big to show on here, but
Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
That is really sick.
this was also dirt cheap. Not in the best of condition. There's a little bit of fading on part of it, but
It's vintage.
it's chilling. Um, it does have Grizzly on it, which I'm not a fan of, but besides that, it's pretty cool. So, um,
How's that writing these days? When's the last time you wrote?
I haven't ridden it since 24.
Mm.
It was shakier than I remembered it previously, but I mean it's still outside of there's one turn has there was this one turn that had a little bit of stronger laterals than I remembered, but it's basically a snooze fest otherwise. So
Yeah, I'm just asking because
it's
I'm gonna be writing it this year. So
okay. It's so bad. Like it's not horrifically rough, but it is it's my lowest rated wooden coaster because it literally doesn't like almost nothing. So
yeah,
um
makes
it
Hurler look like Ghost Rider.
yeah.
The amount of hills that Hurler has at least.
I legit think the Woodstock Express, at least the ones I did at Kings Island, is more interesting than this. So like
Yeah,
it's pretty weak.
yeah, that's how
Um
our Woodstock is with Hurler. So
yeah.
that's really
Let's
the
see.
park.
Expert thinks that Fury would be your favorite Giga since you love
Mm.
Leviathan. I mean,
Yeah,
I would expect that to be the case as well whenever I write it. But
yeah, unless you just, I think the perfect litmus test
oh,
for whether you'd prefer
actually, I forgot
Pantherian.
Panthera. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we'll see. That might be tough. I could see myself prefer. I actually, if I had to guess, I probably would prefer Pantherian, but we'll
I'm
see.
I'm a Fury supremacist. I think it just checks every box for Gigas. It has more airtime than Pantherian. It's not quite as intense, but it still has some good intense moments that really showcase the speed in the first half. Um, I think the perfect litmus test for Pantherian is whether or not you prefer something like Maverick to Fury. I know
Okay,
for me, I like Maverick more than Pantherian, and I like Fury more than both. So
okay. I think I'm a smidge
those
lower on Maverick than consensus. Funnily
mm,
enough, it's still in my top 15, but especially compared to And I think the last time I had you on actually, and I actually did a different thing, but I keep, so I have a thing that like tracks. I have a spreadsheet made that tracks like my most overrated, underrated coasters
Mm.
compared to consensus, which I'm now
Yeah.
doing Captain Coaster. So I'm updating every month. I believe I am like 10 spots lower compared to consensus
Mm.
on Maverick, which
Gotcha.
is for it being like one of the top coasters on the list. That's a decent bit. There's definitely some with like wider uh, discrepancies, but
Like everybody has that ride that they glaze beyond all comprehension,
yeah.
and that
So,
one, of course, is going to be an outlier. But for something like Maverick, that makes sense.
by the way, my most underrated right now, based on that, is Bandit at Yomiuri Land. So, shout out.
I forgot you went to Japan.
Yeah, quietly a few
Mm.
months ago. So that was my favorite coaster I did
Mm.
of the
Oh, that ride looks like
bunch.
a riot. I want to ride that
But
really
dude,
bad.
it was I got 8 rides on it. That was so good.
Mm.
And at night with the lights because it was the Jewel Illumination event, and
Oh
actually
wow.
that park is gorgeous during that event. So um, most people probably would not travel at the right time of year to do it, but if you do, I would recommend.
Yeah,
So
that's good to know.
um, let's see, ideal layout for RMC Hurler. What elements would you like to see on it? You kind of mentioned the truss lift, which I would also be in line with, but I'll
Yeah.
default to you on this one.
Yeah, I would say just a more Draves-esque RMC, not so much like what Shilky did with Twisted Timbers, where it's just basically taking the existing hurler layout and shoving as many hills and inversions into it as you can. I would want something a little more drawn out, something with a little more speed. I think I keep going back to Wildcat's Revenge in my head, which is one of my favorite RMCs. Um, if they just wanted to build a little taller than what they would have done for something like a Twisted Timbers 2.0, build a truss lift, and just follow the same general kind of layout as Hurler, I think that would be just about everything that I would want. So,
I will say the layout for RMC Loop Guru is definitely kind of eye opening. I feel like as far
mm,
as if they assuming that is the layout they go with, that one was very interesting to see just kind of the path they went with that. Although I haven't seen a POV of it, but just kind of looking at it, that did seem to follow at least a decent bit of some of the footprint that the or not the footprint, but like the kind of layout
yeah,
that it initially was. So that was
yeah,
kind of interesting.
yeah. I kind of
Um,
think of that too when I picture a Hurler RMC in my head. It's still
yeah,
very new, so it's not something I've dwelled on much, but kind of
which
following the same style. That's what I would imagine from RMC Hurler.
yeah, which I think yeah that was not announced the last time I did a stream. So shout out Wallaby Belgium. That and Conda as a 1-2 punch is going to be unbelievable.
And you
So
get rid of Vampire.
oh
Just
yeah, that also
do it
is going
all.
away. So shout out. Although maybe some park out there picks it up, but we'll see.
Maybe one of the Wonderlaws in
Yeah,
India.
nah, that one of the Wonderlove parks is gonna pick it up real quick. Hey, at least this one will not have the Kumbak trains, so you have that. I still can't believe they actually use those.
They can get
Um,
one SLC to smash their head and one SLC to hurt everything else.
yeah. Oh man. Let's see. Twisted Timbers clone. We kind of went over that. Not really wanting that.
Hmm.
Um,
Just hard to imagine they would do that, even if that was potentially on the table, just because of the way that RMC designs have changed with Joe Draves.
Yeah, it would be funny. It would be insanely funny if they actually did it, but there's no way. So,
I mean,
um,
I wouldn't complain. Who doesn't like Twisted Timbers? Some people don't like Twisted Timbers, but I like Twisted Timbers.
Charge mentioned their first invert was flying school at Legoland, Florida. What a great
Oh my
start!
goodness.
Oh my god!
At first,
Everyone I've heard who's ridden that, like, they say it was absolutely horrible.
yeah, it
So,
looks brutal.
like, I
At
think
first,
they people say it was the worst one, which is
mm,
crazy.
you had mentioned how Montezuma was what made you into the enthusiast you are now. For me, it was Dragon Challenge the year
Yo, that's sick.
at Universal. Super scared. Thank you, Dad, for getting me on. Um, I ended up getting both sides, and I really can't believe how lucky I got with the timing of everything. Just yeah,
That's a really cool one, honestly, to get you
mm,
into coasters, especially with the timing and everything, as you mentioned.
yeah,
No, that's fantastic. And I think what closed, what was it, 16,
17.
17?
Because
Okay.
I visited. It was like President's Day weekend in 2017, and they closed it just like 6 months after. And I remember
Wow.
thinking to myself, "Man, I'm so glad I did that." And now knowing, like having the Thuzy brain, now I'm really glad that I got on it because I know a lot of people who went when they were kids to Universal, and they chickened off of Hulk and Dragon Challenge. But now that Dragon Challenge is gone, they look back and they're just like, "Man, that would have stung. That would have stung bad."
Yeah, the closest thing I have to that is, and this is nowhere near that level, but California Screamin'. I was too
Mm,
scared to do it when it had that theme, and my God, do I regret it now because I'm like, I probably would have
yeah.
liked it better. I enjoy Incredicoaster, but I'm like, man, I
Yes.
probably would have liked it even more as California Screamin'. So that one's like kind of an L for me.
Mm.
Um, let's
That
see.
topic, I almost missed La Vibora at Over
Oh
Texas.
man.
Barely got on it. So I'm super glad about that. So that was my home park I say my home park growing up, but I only went once. It was in 2014. I rode like 3 coasters that day, but we didn't end up doing
Wow.
La Vibora after considering doing it. And I remember thinking to myself, seeing some of the Swiss Bobs start to close, man, if La Vibora closes before I get to ride, I'm gonna be so upset just because it looks so funky and unique. Got on it the year before it closed in 2023. So very grateful. I have crazy luck with closures. At Star 2 got on the year before it closed. There are a couple others. Sand Serpent at Busch
Ooh,
Gardens
nice.
got on like a month before it closed. Going to Wild Waves in Washington. It's either going to be at the tail end of this month or the start of next month.
Oh,
Planned
okay,
that before they
nice.
even announced the park was going to close
Sweet.
somehow. So yeah,
My dream with that is we'll see if it works. My hope is I would like to get out there during the fall so I can hit both it and the Washington State
yes,
Fair.
yeah,
Because
yep,
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I would honestly more so be going honestly to finally experience classic coaster.
yeah,
But it would be nice to also visit the park before it goes. We'll see if it happens
sure.
though. It's
Get a
up in the
couple
air for
rare
sure.
woodies.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, no, those are that is some pretty insane luck.
Yeah, I really
Uh,
don't know how it keeps happening. Just
that's wild.
almost, I have like an almost perfect track record with it. The only thing I missed by a year was OG Dragster, but
Oh, oof, that
yeah.
one that one's
But
tough to cut.
I got to do Ka before it was gone, so I kind of got
That's
a
good.
taste of it.
That's good. Let's see. I did also do Lavi Bora that year in
Mm,
23. I mean I remember because that was the ride we rope dropped. Just I mean by nature of the
yeah,
capacity and everything. Oh my God, what a hilarious ride that was.
yeah.
um,
I didn't think it would. I didn't think my knees would bang up against the side of the vehicle so much, but it was just such a fun and funky ride that I really couldn't care. So
I get why some people absolutely hated it, but my God, it was so funny.
yeah,
Um, I do I'm sad now that it's like, dang, I can't ever ride one of those again. I'm like, I
yeah,
would have at least liked to have done it a second time, but I'll take the one ride I got on it.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
Um, let's see. Uh, let's see. Uh, does Carowinds pay property taxes to both states? They have a tax break, I think, from one of them, or I forget if it's city or whatnot, but I don't know how that works as far
Mm.
as
Yeah, I'm
I'm.
way underqualified to speak on this. What I can say is that during the pandemic, when they very quickly opened in 2020, the rides on the North Carolina side would operate under like North Carolina amusement laws, regulations, whatever. So they would clean vehicles after every cycle. The rides on the South Carolina side, they were more lenient. They would clean ride vehicles every 30 minutes. So
Oh wow, that's crazy.
so there is a divide there to some degree across the state line. I just don't know to what degree.
I'd have to guess they're designated in one, and they probably stick to that
Mm,
because I feel like that would be that would be kind of cruel punishment for just kind of being
yeah.
located in two states. I don't think they'd have to do both. They
Yeah,
probably have one they're
considering
designated in.
offices are in North Carolina and it's like technically officially Charlotte, if you can only pick one, I would
Hmm.
imagine it falls on the North Carolina side.
Yeah, I would uh, uh, second that. Let's see. Any other questions? I see a lot of chat about like Maverick
Hmm.
and Pantherian, but as far as questions go, wow, there's a lot. Let's see. Like a lot of things mentioned in chat.
You can throw it up if you want.
Well, I'll just see if there's any comments while I try to look for a question.
Hmm.
Um, uh, mentions that Pantherian is really short. So
Hmm.
that's like the reason they maybe like Fury more, but they really like Pantherian.
Oh, funny story about Pantherian while it's on my mind. So so my brothers marched in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this past
Oh
year, which was really
wow,
cool.
that's
So we went
wild.
up to see them. Coming back, King's Dominion just happened to be open, so we popped in to do Rapterra for the first time, and then we're pretty short on time, so I just wanted to get one ride on Pantherian. My number one is Iron Gwazi at Busch
Okay,
Gardens Cafe.
I need to
Yeah,
get on that so bad. I've been to Florida twice
it's
since it's opened, but I haven't gotten down to Tampa. So
it's madness.
there's a shot I
What's
might
more to
go
say
three for
about
three as far as missing it though.
what is
But
it?
hopefully, I said I might end up going three for three on missing it, depending. But so we'll see. But
Oh, but
it's
you got
just
to get up
yeah, it's tough.
eventually.
I
Yeah,
I will I will, but like yeah, it'll happen at some point. And I know, yes, I know of the shuttle and all that. It hasn't worked out because I've went to Orlando during school, so I already was kind of on the two times I went already kind of on a tight schedule. So
mm,
for IAPA and SkyNext. But I did do all the Orlando area parks minus Epic Universe because that wasn't open yet. But
gotcha.
new coasters get inspected by both states. I would assume they probably do the thing where it's like the rides on the certain side, like it probably is just like the whichever state handles that, which would
Yeah.
be really weird. But that would be my guess as to what happens.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds about
Um,
right.
the logistics of being in both states is there's probably some crazy like behind the scenes stuff with that.
Yeah.
That's just absolutely mind boggling. I'd love to hear about some of it. I'm sure people have asked at some of the enthusiast events
Mm.
with some of the higher ups there. So
Yeah. Yeah, the thing
um,
for Pantherian, I woke up the morning we went feeling just sick as a dog. I was questioning if I even wanted to go in the park just because I was in a really bad state. Ended up going because I really wanted to ride Pantherian and Rapterra. Um, and the ride was must have been barely running. It was 41 degrees and super, super windy. I got off the ride and I felt perfectly normal. Like the ride
What?
healed me, and I don't understand how because the weather was so nasty, especially for someone who thought he may have been sick. I really shouldn't have gone in the park. Thinking like looking back, it was probably a bad idea, but it paid off. I felt genuinely good after getting off, and I
That's
don't understand
crazy.
how.
No, that is wild.
Coaster medicine.
Yeah, that I've never heard that one. The closest I can say is, but I wasn't sick when I went to Kings Island the day before. Actually, no, 2 days before. Or no, it was a day before. I just got like dehydrated beyond belief because I was like doing a project
Mm.
in Indiana. So and that just it wore me out. But we were planning to go that next day, but I'm like, man, I don't know if this is gonna because I
Yeah.
was feeling pretty rough the day before, but I felt like okay going in.
Yeah.
And then but like once I was there and writing stuff, it was like not all good. No issues. To
Coaster
be fair, I
medicine.
wasn't like actually like legit sick. I was just like I kind of had stuff that was like if you were sick, but it was because I was like
Mm.
dehydrated. So
Yeah.
I didn't actually travel all sick. So that was good. But it was kind of same thing. And I think I racked. Although we had fast lane because we were going on a uh, I think the day before July 4th.
Whew.
So it was kind of like, yeah, we
Yeah.
need to get that. So I racked up like I think 30 plus ride count overall. So
Solid.
um, that was a good visit.
Mm.
Doesn't Racer go through both states? Racer as in I don't know what you're referring
Thunder
to.
Road, maybe? From
Maybe,
back in the
but
day? I believe it was split along the state line,
mm,
if I'm not mistaken.
that would make sense. I feel like, but
Mm.
not sure
Yeah,
there.
something with that.
But yeah, let's see. See, do I know if they do lights on last ride of the night
I
on
didn't even
Flight of
know that was
Fury?
a thing. This is the first
I
I'm hearing of that.
what I never heard that in my life. I maybe they do something for it occasionally. I have I have never heard that being a
Pretty
thing.
cool.
If they do it, that's awesome, but I have not ever heard of that. I'm not
Too
gonna
bad I'll
lie.
always be over at the Beast.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this is King's Dominion. They're saying not, or oh wait, they're saying like King's Island. So they, well, I would
like
not do it. I
Kings
don't like
Island
the,
does it.
I don't like the King's Island flight fear. I'll just say straight up, I don't think it's
Yeah,
very
that one
good.
doesn't ride as well as KD's.
That's the only one I've done, and that's also the only Premier Spaghetti Bowl. So that's
Mm.
that I've done. So that's kind of unfortunate. Um,
Yeah, I like quietly collected all the American ones over time.
Charge says that Ki does it, and Connexpert says
Mm.
Ki always does it. Okay, then I guess I didn't
Oh,
know. Maybe it kind of makes sense if they actually do it, but we didn't know. This is the park where that would make sense because no offense, like no, you'd hardly hear anyone being like going over to Flight of Fear and writing that for last ride of night when he got
yeah.
not just Beast but Mystic, Orion, heck, even Bat. I've heard great things about for a night
Mm.
ride,
I'm sure that's
which
great at night.
I'm still salty the fact that it derailed a few weeks before I went, so it was
I went
close.
the day it derailed.
No way. Are you
Kid you not.
serious?
It derailed like
That's
45 minutes after I
crazy.
rode. It was the
Oh
wildest thing.
my god. There's no way.
Yeah, I was shocked when people started talking about it, and I was like, I'm in the park. I rode this earlier today.
I mean, no. Fortunately, everyone was good, but I'm happy we're not on it when it derailed.
It would have been hard to ride everything that day, to say the least.
Oh my god, that is crazy.
Hmm.
I do know of some people that were at Cedar Point when the dragster thing happened. So that one's
That
also
must have
like,
been like, I mean, bat, nobody got hurt. Dragster must have,
yeah,
if
the
you were
dragster
in
one
the
was
queue for
tough.
Dragster, I'm sure that
They
was
weren't in the queue, but
traumatic.
they were in the park and that happened, and I'm like, man, that would be,
That'd be
oof, that would
traumatic
not be
anyway.
great. Yeah, no, that would not have been a good situation. At least, as you said, the bat, no one got hurt. It was just kind of a weird situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, the dragster one ended up being a lot more consequential and a lot for a lot of different people. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so but still, my man, the bat thing, that is, I can't believe that. It's crazy. Um, the only like kind of funny lucky thing I feel like I can mention is Epcot. I was there the first day they randomly decided to open the single rider line on Remy's Ratatouille Adventure like two
Oh,
plus years after it opened.
that single
And
rider
so we
line was so much better than the standby queue.
Well,
That,
dude, the day we did it, like there was hardly anyone there because no one knew it was open.
well, I don't think, yeah.
The only reason we knew was I was with Christian from he hasn't made content in a while, but Theme Park Horizon, shout out, and he saw
Hmm.
someone post on X that the single rider line was open, and we're like, really? And lo and behold, it had that day, out of absolutely nowhere. They just decided to do it. I guess they actually were later in the day. They were literally trying to like they were like signaling and had like people like verbally telling people that like single rider line was open because like no one was using it and like no one like knew. So
Yeah.
not nearly as crazy as writing bat on the day it derailed, but that one was
Well,
kind of
yeah.
cool, especially because I actually used it. So and it was so random too.
Hmm.
So also writing Rock and Roller Coaster a few days before they announced the Muppets overall out of nowhere. Because that announcement like literally just like I was at
So
IAPA
out
and
of
then
left field.
someone like texted me. I'm like, there's no way. Um, well, I think they announced it that morning, but I hadn't seen it, and
Hmm.
I was like, "There's no way they actually announced this." And I looked at it, I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, man. The thing I was upset about though, I'm like, I would have gotten a front row ride had they announced it a few days prior. I
Yeah.
would have made more of an effort because I just I got a few rides on it, but I didn't try to get front row. Would have tried had I
Gotcha.
known, but it is what it is. I think that might be it as far as questions go. So I think that we can probably um, just about wrap it up, unless yeah, it looks like I
Alrighty.
think I hit everything. So um, good stream, Josh. If you have anything else you want to mention or say before we head out here, go right ahead.
Uh, Let me know when you're coming to Carowinds. Anybody who I'm connected with on socials, like just send me a message. I'm usually around. So
Alrighty. And then for those of you who haven't followed CLT Coasters yet, I have all the links in the description. So make sure to do that. And of course, huge thanks to you for coming on and being our now second guest for these 10-year park plans and a return guest on Coasters Time. So that's always fun.
thanks for having me once again.
But yeah, that'll wrap up the stream. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you all.